to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
We're gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, here we go again. We are back at it here at the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Pub Beer. Now, you know I got to ask, Buds, how we doing today?
So good, my dog.
God, love hearing that. Now, to my left, we have Casey Willax in the booth. Casey, how we doing?
We're dreaming.
Love it, love it. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Casey Willax, he has one of the more popular vlogs in snowboarding. He's a ripping snowboarder. Overall, extremely positive, inspirational human. He's going to be dropping some life hammers on us today, all day long. So let's just get right into it here, Casey. Now, first of all, where are you from originally?
I was born in Connecticut.
Okay, CT Loke. Now, earlier I asked you in the Patreon interview, what's your biggest influence in life? And I loved your answer.
My family, for sure. My mom and my brother. We've just been through some insane things, and watching the way that they handled it just basically taught me how to handle stuff that, I mean, we're all going to go through gnarly stuff in life. So it's all about the way that you handle it. And my mom and my brother, they're the ones. Yeah.
Do you want to just dive right into like some of the stuff you dealt with when you were a kid?
I mean, everybody goes through, you know, tragedies, and some of them are gnarlier than others. I grew up skateboarding, whatever. Around 9 years old, I lost my father in a motorcycle accident, and I mean, you could imagine how traumatizing that is. And like I said, just to see my mom step up and raise 3 gnarly dudes on her own while like being a nurse and working night shift and coming back is just like, it's just one of those subconscious things when you're growing up that you're not actually studying it, but you're absorbing it. And I feel like, you know, you kind of live that life that your parents are. And yeah, that's definitely the first traumatic thing that happened in my life, and growing through that and watching even my grandparents and everybody handle it like so properly gave me the motivation and like the mindset to be like, all right, this life is so fragile. We gotta do work. We gotta make every moment count. Not only just for me. Now I gotta do it for another person. And I mean, my dad was 36 years old. He's a Grom. It's like, I'm gonna be 36 in 5 years. And just, yeah. One thing leads to another. I feel like there's kind of a long like break where something like that it'll really resonate, and you'll be crushing it for half a decade, 5 years, 10 years, and then something even gnarlier will go on. And yeah, maybe we'll get into that in a little bit.
I want to highlight something you said there, because I watched one of your parts when you're a kid, one of your skate parts. Dossie sent me, and I don't know how old you are, but you're like hucking huge gaps. You're like big zero vibes. We'll put the video on the screen, but you're all in all these big gaps, and you're just like kick flipping down stuff, and looked like you're probably like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. Do you know the video part I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Now I got to ask, like, do you think, you know, I always ask this one, kind of go Dr. Phil on them, but did you use skateboarding as like the outlet to kind of deal with some of that emotional hardships you were going through?
I didn't even realize it until right now, but 100%. And my mom was so lenient, which you wouldn't think that after something like that she'd be like super lenient. She'd want to be more protective, but she let us, I mean, skateboard to school before you were even allowed to. So like we'd have to hide from the buses and like take different routes and then like skate home. But she was just always super proper with like making sure that when I got somewhere I called her, making sure that before I did it, we told her, and that I had my brother, and yeah, being able to skate around. And like skating is just so much self-discipline, and you're just getting work the whole time. So you learn so much about like perseverance, and yeah. I would say for sure.
Another side note too, it's like, you know, to foreshadow what you've been doing now, you make all these vlogs. We can get into that in a little bit, but you've been making skate edits since how old?
9 or 10 years old. My brother and me both got into it, and that video that you're talking about is actually, it was brutal, but that was like the outtake kind of part. Like there was some of the bangers that got saved, but like you were saying, it was just massive ollies, just ollies, board sides. Like I went back to all those spots, and like I was kick flipping some of them, tray flipping, like doing like different grind smiths, crooks. And my mom had a friend over who thought he was just some computer cache clear up the space guy, and formatted the whole, we had full parts, bunch of my brother, like 5, 6 of us, intros, like, dude, it was insane. It was heartbreaking to watch that edit go away. So that was like the resin of whatever was left. And like that honestly got me like more motivated to get back in and be like, all right, we got to put these things on hard drives. We got to make it better. We got to get better clips and like.
Damn, that's devastating.
That's harsh.
I mean, I've heard you guys, you've been through it too. You've lost podcasts, I'm sure. Like reformatting cards, not clicking record. Like
at that age, though, geez, you got the full part that you're so proud of. I can't even. I think that's heavier than anything. But I do want to change gears and kind of get into how you like because we're talking about skating. Let's talk about snowboarding. How you found love for that?
Snowboarding's like there's classes to consider yourself a snowboarder versus like a weekend warrior. And from when I was, first time I rode a board, I think was 8th grade, Connecticut, Powder Ridge, one of the ski trips. And I remember we had to have a coach, and we did the bunny hill, and me and my buddy JJ, first time I ever strapped into a board, top to bottom, pointed it right down the bunny hill at Powder Ridge. And then we were like, all right, we got to wait till this guy goes to lunch or something and split from him. And then they went to lunch and they told us that like we can keep riding the bunny hill if we want. And we went up to lower middle field, which is the high one, and it's just rollers. And we were pointing and jumping and popping like it was like I'd been snowboarding forever. So it felt so comfortable off the rip. But then up until I was, so probably from like whatever 10 to 19, I would ride like 8 to 12 times a season. I had the Strat and Sunday pass, just super weekend warrior style, you know, some 360s and stuff. And then one weekend, me and my buddy Brian, we were driving up to Stratton, and his dad didn't come, and we took a wrong exit, and we didn't take the 30. We went the other way, so we went by Mount Snow, and we were like, should we just pull in, check this place out? Heard some good things, and we copped tickets, and seeing Corinthia, seeing that park, and then there was like people there that I'm like friends with now that I was just seeing, like I'd never seen a switchback 5, front sev, back sev. And the swag, and it was just like, we looked at each other and we're like, dude, what are we doing? Like, we need to be riding park all the time. And then we went back down. And then the next Sunday when we came up and we were going to take the exit, and we were looking at each other and we were like, we literally like threw our Strat passes to the side because it was the end of the season. We were like, let's just go ride this. And then the next season, because that was like right towards the end, I used the homie Taylor that you guys met. I was using his pass and his brother's pass, giving him $20 or whatever, whenever we could. And we poached like, I was driving up from Connecticut, commuting like I think like 35 times. It was like the most insane thing ever. Changed my life. And then from that moment, I was like, all right, I want to make this a thing. I want to consistently snowboard. And there was just so much that happened so quick. The second year, so this was 2010, 11, I think was my first season, like really starting to snowboard 30 plus times. And then the next season, I was going to make it a thing where I was like, I'm going up there all the time. I'm getting a season pass. And one thing led to another. I was filming my own clips by myself. I don't know if you've seen the first ever season edit that I put out. It's kind of funny. I'm wearing everything Torstein's had that year or the year prior, trying to do all the same tricks. I didn't really like, when you start snowboarding, you don't know about pullbacks. You know, you're just 2.7 out. You're, back 270, you're landing on the rail. Like I was doing back 270s then that I look now and I'm like, how did I land on the rail? Like I was just spinning and then landing on the rail. And by the end of the year, I had like a lot of stationary clips of myself doing the Ken Burns, and I put it online on, my buddy Anto told me to throw it on sponsorme.com. And I got hit up by 2 companies, a board company and a binding company. And they were psyching. They were like both kind of startups. And I had done my first double backflip ever. That was when Mount Snow had like the 70 booters, like 70-foot booters. Caught a toe edge on my first one, got annihilated. Got the second one. That was my ender. And the Global Mind Elevation was the first company. They hit me up. They wanted to send me some money and fly me out to Hood. And I didn't even know what Hood was. I know that was a thing. And they had the after hours crew, Ian and all the boys and Yale. They had them out there doing some work for their board, for their company, and then Ian was filming some edits for them. So my first experience getting sponsored was flying out to Hood with a small budget and meeting up with Yale Cousineau and Luke Haddock. And I'm just...
Sorry, had to throw those guys some...
Yeah, Haddock is dope.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was in the dead center of it and had no idea like how epic Hood was. I hadn't learned about like any of that yet. And we filmed 2 videos there. It was crazy because it was winter. It was like April or May, and it was full on winter. It was like snowing there. And then I came back, and the binding company had hit me up, Bon Iver, don't know if you know anything.
Never
about
heard of
that.
I never heard of Bonnevere.
You might have. It was the magnet snap in levers, snap the magnet out, binding stays on your foot, pump.
Oh, so dope.
I still don't. I never saw that. That sounds amazing though.
Very difficult, honestly, very difficult. But dude had a huge budget and he was stoked, and the guy was an awesome human. And I think he drove up from New York, met up with me at like a Starbucks. We had a full meeting, and he was trying to go to Mammoth, and he had it was like a startup, so he had a lot of money, and he wanted to like fly us out there. And I had just basically told him all about Hood and how insane it is, and that Mammoth was melting, and that there's this place. And he was like, "I'm down. Like, what do we need to do?" And I told him about my other buddy that I snowboard with all the time, because when I was going to Hood and I started with that kid Brian, we were making like dub show productions was what we called it. We were just making edits of each other snowboarding, and then it ended up to me making that full part at the end. But I told him that like if he wants clips, he wants edits, he can fly me and my buddy Brian out, and then this other homie Crowbar. We'll film, we'll edit, we'll do everything, and we'll put the stuff. We'll like make it all for you and give it to you for free. And he was super down. Had another meeting. He threw the three of me and my two friends out to Hood. This was so crazy to just be the first like step into snowboarding. But we got to Hood, hadn't snowboarded for 2 months. It was like July or something like that, and he flew these drone dudes out that were like before drones were a thing, a team of drone pilots. He had Darcy Baca, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Absolute lord, shooting, like hired to shoot us, rented out after hours at Windell's, groomed the big kickers, had the whole film crew up there, and it was just like me, my boy Brian, and my other boy Crow, and we were like, this is out of our league. But it was like,
yeah, Darcy's legit too.
Legit. And one of them, my buddy Brian hit it once or twice, and he was like, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna sit this one out, and I'll help get some clips. And I feel like I did pretty good. I just 180, 360, 540, 720 until it like wasn't, uncomfortable. I think I stopped at 9, got some clips, and then once that was over, we were like, dude, we got to stay at Hood. And how are we going to make that happen? The guy had bought on us passes, but we didn't have any money. We weren't like, I actually did have a lot of money saved up, because at that point I just been working for so long. Well, hadn't been snowboarding. So like up until the year prior, the 2 years prior, I was just like cutting grass, painting, doing absolutely anything I could to just save up money like a regular person, just, and then I found snowboarding, and I was like, dude, I'm down to drop every single penny that I have on making this happen. And the dude was like, dude, I'll pay you guys if you keep making 1 to 3 minute edits every week. I'll throw you guys whatever, $500 to a G, so you can pay your rent. And because we got a spot at the Summits.
Oh, classic, the Scummets.
The Scummets. Yep. And we actually split one of the rooms when it was like $250 each, through like not even $150. And we spent, that was like the first summer I ever snowboarded. Found out about Hood, had all that go down, and was just living there for like 2 months with my buddy Brian, just pumping out edits and getting stoked. And that was literally my intro to snowboarding.
First of all, what's the website? You can just put your sponsor tape up? I've never heard of that.
Yes.
Have you?
No, I've never heard
Dude,
of
that's amazing.
SponsorMe.com.
Dude, does that still exist?
I have no idea.
Dude, I got to check that out. That's amazing.
Yeah, upload some
and the
clips,
fact that
buds,
it
maybe
works.
you get a new deal.
Well, the fact that it worked is just incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like I was a new rider, and then they were new companies, so we probably had the same type of.
Yeah, it was perfect.
The other thing too is I like when you go from big fish, small pond, like you're on the East Coast, and you're like, oh, I'm killing it. I think I'm like. And then also to highlight the fact that just being able to say that you're sponsored when you're a kid is like people, because that's the question, like, yo, you sponsored? And you're like, yeah, fuck yeah,
especially in Connecticut,
you know, right? It's like how was that as a kid?
Oh, I was 19, 20. So it was like it was dope for the first time ever being sponsored, but I felt like I was a full blown adult, like heading into this world where I didn't know. Like I didn't know what was good. I didn't know the cool stuff that people think's cool. So there's a lot of shit I was doing that was so lame. I look back now, I'm like, whew.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
It is what it is.
And going back too is like I always love that. Everybody that sits in this chair, most people, they're like, I went to Mount Hood for the summer, and it's like it just clicked where you're around like-minded people, and all of a sudden you were big fish, small pond. Now you're small fish, big pond, and you get to see. You see like pros, and I remember session and jumps with like Scotty Arnold when I was a kid or whatever, and you're hitting in the same jump as Danny Cass when I was a kid, and you're just like, this is insane. But how was that experience going to Hood and just seeing like all the rippers and everything?
It was mind blowing. And like, I obviously knew the big dogs, like, the biggest ones in the magazines, but I was roommates in the Scummets with Jess Kimura.
Oh, so sick.
Sick.
Give her an air horn.
Zero clue who she was.
Yeah. Well, she probably wasn't known that well at that point, too.
She was huge. It was,
she was already huge? Yeah.
I think it was like Defenders of Awesome shit.
Oh, no way.
And
Yeah.
the reason that we found out who it was is because it was like the whole Capita team came over. Scott Stevens was in the Summits with us, and me and my buddy Brian were like, something's going down right now. And then we literally saw the part get premiered, and we're like, yo, what are we doing? How do we not know? This is crucial.
That's what's sick though, is Hood opened you up so you could finally find out what's legit and what's not. And
Exactly.
in Connecticut, you had no one to really point the way for you. Where in Connecticut did you grow up?
Near Hartford, Colchester.
Sick. I lived in Danbury
Okay.
for some years, yeah, so I know that area until I was in, like, I don't know, like 8th grade or something.
Another CT guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to fast forward and kind of jump into kind of chasing the contest circuit. How did that come about?
So that was, all the years get mixed up, but I think that was the same year that I was doing the filming for myself, where I was just trying to get some money to keep it going. And that was when, like, I wouldn't say I was doing like the big contest circuit, as I was just literally Googling all the contests on the East Coast, just trying to like either get recognition, get sponsors, or make some money, or get boards and sell them. And so I would just go to like Crotchet Mountain, New Hampshire, and do a big air. And like, I think I won one of those, $500 in a snowboard, you know, and then you can sell that. And then I'd go to like Waterville Valley and do like the Trans Ams and all that type of stuff, and the K-Town things at Killington. And it was just a lot. Like I was definitely forced doing it. I had nobody with me. It was just me driving there by myself. And like I would get there so early, be sleeping in my car, like waiting for reservation. Like, why do they make you make the reservation 8 o'clock when the practice is at 10? And then at 12 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm going to be smoked by then. Like, it's not even good conditions out here. I just drove so far, spent $60 on gas. I'm like, I better win a board or something. I could tell the whole time it just wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm. But it's also a great way to, we get asked all the time, how do you get sponsored? Is a good way to make a name for yourself is just go show up to contests. And
it is, and do well.
Yeah, try hard. That's awesome.
And you get to see all those other kids too.
It's so sick. And it's like, there's a mix of, because sometimes you should be thrown down, even if it's not ideal. Like, it's never going to be ideal. So if you're waiting for it, that saying, if you're waiting for the perfect conditions, you're going to be waiting forever. So it's like, it's nice to, but when it really is flat light and icy, and you have to throw a double backflip, you're just like, why are we doing this?
But also, growing up on the East Coast, I mean, I've gotten so soft when you go west. Like back there, it is like ice is a whole different definition.
That's all we've been talking about. We were in the RV and we're looking at each other shaking. We're like, boys, we've gone soft. Like, it's 28 degrees outside. It's not that cold.
Yeah, I remember like riding Mount Snow as a kid too. The jumps would be like, actually, you're taking off and landing on pure ice. Mm-hmm. Like it's not
like actual blue
like
ice.
you could probably get a hockey skate in there and
wind.
Yeah, and
windy and icy.
Yeah.
But you're at Mount Snow and you see all the kids from the academy, and they're all just like 9 kids go off and back 7 melon the same 60-foot jump. You're just like, they're working on back 7 melons today. And flat light, it rained last night, but it definitely it translates.
Killer. Well, I got to guess.
It disappears too.
Yeah. I think it's a good time to transition into a guest question. Guest questions presented by Capita Snowboards. So let's get into one from none other than Scotty Lago. Here we go.
Hey guys, Scotty Lago here. So I got a question for you, Casey, a 2-parter. Number 1, who was your biggest influence growing up in the world of snowboarding, and who inspires you now? Number 2, how do you balance your life? I mean, I know you're grinding all day, snowboarding, filming everything, and then you have to go back and edit and post every single day. So I know that's a grind. Do you have time to poop? Do you have time to sleep? Do you have time to brush your teeth? These are the things we need to know. But killing it this year, man. Congratulations.
He's the man. He's so sick, dude. He's so funny.
He rules.
First question was
like who was your early influence in snowboarding?
Oh, Torstein.
And then who is it now? Yeah, it's Torstein.
Torstein for sure.
Hell yeah.
He was running snowboard content before like social media was even taking over. Torstein.net was the sickest thing ever. And I remember just every day, me and my buddy Brian, that was like right around the same time, 10, 11, where we were going to Mount Snow and we were trying to film our own parts. Torstein was just hilarious. He was putting out so much stuff, and I would go on torstein.net every day, refresh that thing 3-4 times, waiting for a new video. There was no notifications yet. It was still Vimeo, and yeah, just trying to emulate his style and his stoke and how funny he was on the hill, and just like you watch all of his parts, it's like it's a joke, but he's putting down the best things ever in his content. He's the Lil Wayne of snowboarding. You know, it's like so much video parts and everything, and yeah, he was definitely the number one. I mean, the Steez is.
And then the part 2 would be, who's your snowboarding influence now?
It's crazy how much less I watch snowboarding now that I'm.
You don't have time, right?
Scotty said, yeah. I mean, I like just watching like the whole culture of snowboarding, all of it, everything that you guys have done, everything that all the guys that you have interviewed have done. Like everybody has a little portion, and yeah, I like to be influenced by it all. The sport's incredible.
Solid answer. And then we haven't really dove into the vlogging stuff, but I did like his question about kind of balancing it. We can rewind after this and get into that, but I like that was his part 3. It's a 3-parter technically.
Yeah, it was a 3-parter.
1, 2 tray. I don't know. I literally just grab one thing that needs to get done out of 100 and just start gnawing away at it. And when that's done, do another thing. I obviously have like homies that help so much with a bunch of other stuff, and like they help with filming, and it's just a lot of it is it's like so tied to me that I like having my hands on it. So like you can't have really people, you know, like you guys write your messages. So I like doing my merch and making sure that I can throw like 4 or 5 extra things in each one, and like yeah, it's just picking the most crucial things and just getting to them. You have that anxiety in your head of like how much stuff you have to do, but like really if you just put your head down and just start, you're gonna be halfway through it, and then the next time you take a break, you'll be done. Get it off the whiteboard, do the next thing. Like it's just one step at a time. You
got a rolling whiteboard in that RV?
Couple.
So you're a visual guy too. You like the whiteboards. You're analog in that.
I like crossing it off.
Dude, I'm the same
I write
way.
stuff down after I'm done with it, and
dude, I do the same thing.
Because I see it, I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like I crushed it today, but I did like 6 things. And sometimes I'll be like laundry, dry laundry, like call someone.
Actually, no, that's solid. There's a little dopamine hit.
Yeah.
You're like, yep, okay, bingo.
Knock another one out.
Yep. I honestly think that's really good actionable advice though. It's like you can wake up and do anything in a day, but if you have a list of like 6 things, you can crush, you know, but
and it's noon. You're like, should I throw a couple more on there?
Yeah.
I just knocked everything out. This is my day. But I definitely lost so much sleep. I was sleeping like nothing the first year and a half or 2 of the vlog. When I was doing every single day, I lost.
Let's rewind a little bit and go back to the conceptualization, or what made you just say, okay, I'm doing this with
especially daily like that.
It was like kind of a combo of a couple things. I wasn't really like, I was getting Instagram photos, which is like pretty easy to get a photo a day or like a clip and post, but I wasn't really posting that much stuff, but I was doing so many crazy things. And I was trying to follow, because like I said, I had all that money from working, like 20 grand saved up from cutting lawns for 10 years. And once I found out about all that stuff, and I started seeing, okay, Hood, where are these guys going next? Where's these guys going next? Then I started kind of following it. So I went to Austria that same, like what, 2012 or 13 was the first time. I went to Stubai. I was like, oh my God, what in the world is this? And just like posting a photo from Stubai, and like I learned so many things about how to get around and how to travel and how to do it. And like I really wasn't even spending that much money because there's so many people that were hooking me up or that were stoked, or like I could help them out and then they could help me out. And it's just like I learned about this like trading thing. Like if someone wants to let you crash on their couch and you cook them dinner for free, like now you're taking an extra hour away from them and they're nutritized, and you're just like, okay, this is like a mutual thing, and it's stoked. So I was just doing so many things and traveling so much and like not showing any of it and learning so much that I started watching one of my good friends, Ben Gravy. He had a vlog, a surf vlog, and he was doing every single day. And he was kind of doing the same stuff. He was just ripping and shredding and stoking and filming it. And I had taken a break from filming for a little while because I was just traveling, I was really just trying to hone my skills in. I went to Hood like every single summer, and I was just like just trying to dial it and get as best as I could at snowboarding, take care of myself. And like I was watching his vlogs, and I was like, dude, I should be showing people like what I'm doing. And then all my friends are like, I mean, you're the craziest dude that I know. You're like always living in your van or driving somewhere or hitting a triple thread or surfing. So I was like, I should just like, I feel like people would be stoked on this, and I could help people out if they want to do it on their own, because it's gnarly moving out of your hometown and selling everything you own and breaking up with your girlfriend and like just making that commitment to move out west, and you don't even have a car or any friends out there. And I was like, there's so many people that could benefit from that. So I had been working a bunch, and I set a date when I was going to be done working before the next season, where I was like, I'm gonna try to save up another 10 grand, pay off my winter, buy a new computer, buy a camera, have some money to spend, and I'm just going to go full time on this YouTube thing, and I'm just going to record my day, put out the video, and see if people are hyped on it. And it just started getting crazy. We started off, the first day was a road trip, and it was with my buddy Jamal, and when we went to Utah, we went to Brighton, we went to Texas, we went to Florida, we were surfing up the coast, we ended up linking with my friend Ben, and it was just like every day was something sick, and it started like growing pretty quick in the comments, and like seeing people so stoked. It was like really motivational. And we got up to Corinthia and pushed daily all the way through the year till the new year. And then I got fucking hammered on New Year's for no reason, just stoked, got hammered, woke up the next day in my bed, puke all in my bed, just couldn't film a video. I was like sleeping till like 12 o'clock. And I was like, is this really going to be the first day where I get no content out on the first day of the year and start this thing off just terribly? And I made the commitment right there. I filmed it, claimed it, and I was like, I'm just going to do every single day of 2018. And I got myself out of bed, so hungover, went to the mountain by myself with nobody, just did like 3-4 laps to get the stoke up, came back home. And from then on, I did every single day of 2018, and it was so gnarly. I feel like my editing wasn't that good. My filming wasn't that good. When I first started, it was just like, get the clips, put it out, see what you're doing wrong, try to fix it, do one thing better each day, and it'll develop. And then I got a GoPro, and then I got a camera, and then I had like some people that were stoked to like help start filming, so it just wasn't just GoPro POV or like selfie stick, which is like, I hate doing that now. But when you're starting, you're like, you have no other content, you have no other way to do it, and like people want to see you out there, and you want to I basically just wanted to show that I'm out here shredding and the conditions are shit, and I'm having a fucking blast. And you can do the same. If you're lazy, get up, get stoked, and get out there, and like maybe the sun will come out and you'll get some good stuff. And yeah, I committed, and I did 2018 with the help of like, a bunch of friends, and just crazy late nights and crazy commitment. And I was traveling so much that year, and it made me do so many epic things, because I'd wake up and like I would obviously edit to like 2, 3, 4 a.m. sometimes. My schedule was crazy. Wake up at like 9 or 10, just exhausted, rode again. But I'm like, I gotta get a banger if I'm gonna be putting a video out every single day. Like, I'm not trying to make this mediocre and just be me at my house making food and chilling. So I'm like, every day I was doing something or traveling somewhere, and it was like, it was making me do the sickest things. I was already kind of doing it, but it was throughout that year and a half, I was like getting worse at stuff, because like I'd snowboard, but I wouldn't go home and take care of myself and then rest and then eat, get 8 hours of sleep, wake up at 7, stretch, and then go ride again. I'd be grinding. I'd like makeshift some food that was good, but I would just be up all night editing, get no sleep, and I'm sore the next day, never stretch, but like got to get content out. And like I made a promise to myself and to the people, and like it was just so important. I feel like when I make a commitment to myself, I got to do it. And yeah, so I did every day through 2018, all the way to, I got over 500 or 600, I believe. And then I got smoked at Bear, it was really a mellow fall, but I had like level 4, stage 4 kidney laceration, internal bleeding, urethra like torn and all that, piss and blood. And that's when it got to the point where I was like, I need to take a break and not post one day, just so that there's not this overwhelming cloud of me and like everybody thinking like, when's he gonna take a day off? And I'm literally like, I was like hospitalized. I did the whole hospital, that I was still doing daily editing in the like
in the
IVs
hospital
and everything. And my computer spent the night there. And then I was like, I need to get away. I need to dial myself in. I need to go inside. I need to like go on a trip. So I just like made an announcement. I was like, I'm not posting tomorrow. Like enjoy one day with no videos. I got to take care of myself. And everybody was like stoked. It relieved so much. Like that was on me. And then I actually had a subscriber that was just like, yo, tell me where you want to go. I'll fly you there. You got to get away, because I had gotten clearance like 2 weeks later that like I could ride, but I couldn't fall. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't ride then. Yeah. I'm going to fall.
Yeah, you're going to fall.
And so I was just like, where would be somewhere so sick? Like it's just like me. And I love Spanish, like everything about culture and just like the language and everything. So I was like, where could I go within that? And I just picked like the Mayan temples, like the ruins in Mexico and the whole Yucatan Peninsula and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to take a backpack, nothing else, a skateboard, and just go cruise around down there, find some temples and some Mayan stoke and like meditate and just get myself dialed in for a few weeks until it's like ready where I can actually come back and shred. And yeah, that was the relief of stopping putting out every single day was so insane.
And the subscriber put you on the whole trip.
Yeah.
What a champion.
Shot. Give him
Yeah, let's give him a big old
give
air
him
horn.
an air horn.
D-Ward's the man.
There's a couple different bullet points going through my head there, but
Yeah.
the first thing that I want to dive into too, because it's kind of right, in the world of like quote unquote influencers, right? It's really popular to make a living on social media, right? And even myself, like you've been like, oh, I do cool stuff, like I can make a vlog, you know, and I just want to smash that fake romanticized thing to obliterate that, because really if you like what you do, the amount of work that goes in is you film all day and then you get home and you film all night or you edit all night and you do that every single day. The amount of work ethic required to do that, it's like if you want to, it's like you could work a regular job and make 6 figures, or you can fucking work 10x what you're working at a regular job and probably not make like that much money. And so, like, I guess it's like a lot of people might see you and say, "Oh, I want to do a vlog. That looks awesome. Like, my life's cool." But it's like, do you want to do what it takes to be successful? Because you're a walking example of it. But the level of commitment and integrity, I do have to say, when you say you're going to do something and you do it, I got to slap some respect on that too. But yeah, like I guess explaining, like you kind of did briefly, but the utter amount of work it is to do every day, it just seems out of hand.
It was 100% out of hand. And I literally don't know how. I've tried to do daily again, and it was so gnarly. I don't know how, because we went to Japan, I went to New Zealand, I went to Austria, I went to Australia, went to like that whole entire year, and every single day was filmed every moment. I mean, I had strep throat for 4 or 5 days. Like I had a kidney laceration. Like I had so many things, and that's why I feel like the people were like, they were becoming like family. Like they felt like they knew me so well, even though obviously I don't know everybody. But like when you're putting your life out there and you're putting that much out there, but like you were saying about the job thing, though, you can have a banger job and be making 100 grand a year, but every single day you're not doing what you love. When
Good point.
You would, at the end of that year, if you had 80 grand saved up and someone was like, yo, give me 80 grand, you could do whatever you want next year. Like every single day, whatever you want. That's what you would spend your money on anyways. You try to save up money to do the things you love. So if you can figure out a way to do the things you love and just like either stay balanced or like spend a couple bucks, like that's what I feel like I'm trying to do.
There's that quote, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Yep.
And that's how you felt,
100%.
being able to travel.
It was a full struggle though, and absolutely nobody sees any of that, because you're trying to make a good quality video, so you don't want to put in like a lot of that, but you have to show like, yo guys, listen, I've had people that literally told me at that point that I should put out 2 videos a day.
2.
I was mind blown. It's like, do you understand that I'm filming every day, my whole day, and then I put it out? Like, what would a second video even be?
Yeah.
How could I get 2 videos out of it?
It would be you editing. How to edit.
How did you see, like, did you see that the subscribers, like on YouTube, you started getting traction when you started doing daily? How was like the growth of that?
I heard that YouTube benefits daily so much that if you do daily uploads, that they just like, you're getting people to come back. They're going to recommend your stuff more and more. I didn't have really, I mean, looking at it now, I didn't really have like massive growth, but back then, like if I would get like 3, 4, 5, 6 every day, like new subscribers and people are commenting, stoking on it all, then it's like, that was heavy. I was like, if that keeps happening, 6, and then what if I get a 50 day, and it's going to add up. And it was honestly more the concentration of how stoked people were on seeing it, and then reading comments about stuff, being like I share information about something that's so obvious to me, and then no one knew it, and it helped so many people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's so many things that apparently I've dialed in that are like so on point with me. Just like you were saying, reactions to stuff and the way to handle things. And like if something gnarly goes on, like just taking a deep breath and being like, all right, we got to be on point right now. We got to handle the situation. We can't be freaking out, or we're not going to be performing at our best, and we're going to handle the situation worse. So it's like just sharing stuff like that. The next thing you know, people are like, dude, I just had this happen to me, and I took it this way, and then I didn't even realize this, and then I ended up finding out this, and now I'm stoked because of that. And I'm like, dude, it's like, you never know when something's going on that it's actually for the best unless you just commit to just knowing, having faith regardless that like this is going to work out better because I'm going to make it work out better.
Yeah, that's really solid too. And if you look at a lot of the snowboarding content that comes out, like it's tricks, it's surface, it's you're a lot of the snowboarding content that comes out, you're just inspiring people by doing difficult tricks and maybe a lifestyle kind of thing. But the thing I want to commend you on with your vlogs is the influence is bigger than that, especially whether, you know, your stuff now, I'm not super familiar with your old stuff, but you're like promoting eating healthy. You're, you know, you meditate, you do these things. And I think that the teaching people how to live a more healthy, balanced life is like way bigger overarching message than, hey, look at my tricks.
Yeah, because if you feel good and you have more energy, you're going to crush everything. So I have people that don't even snowboard that watch a lot of videos, or like people that just surf, and everybody eats food. Everybody wants to feel better, whether you're taking care of your kids and you're a parent, whether you're going to a desk job, whether you're a filmer, whether you're a snowboarder. Like, it's just so sick waking up feeling blazing and then crushing your whole day and waking up feeling good again. So I actually, on that 2018 year where I did the commitment to make a video every day, I also was going to not drink every day, obviously, because I was puking all over myself. And I was just like, wow, what an amazing decision. What an absolute incredible decision to never wake up hungover. And people react differently to alcohol. Some people can just handle it proper. It just wasn't. It's just one of those things where it wasn't for me. Made the decision not to, and then boom, that resonated with so many people too. Maybe stop drinking, and it's not about like doing what I'm doing or like doing what other people are doing, but just taking advice. And if that might work for you, if you feel like you have a problem with drinking, and then relating to it, and then seeing that somebody else can actually stop too, and that they get good results from it, and inspiring them to do that. Like, if you're going to influence somebody, that's how you want to be doing it.
100%. Yeah, it's one thing to inspire somebody with a trick, but it's another thing to take somebody that's a user or an alcoholic and show them that there's another way to live. And you know, sometimes we talk about that, or I talk about it on the air and stuff like that. And the messages are, they're so many. I'm sure you get so many, and that's like could be saving somebody's life. That could be, you
100%.
know, and that's so much bigger than just
having people watch you because you put down a sick trick.
Check out my back lip.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah,
it's probably still sick, but
yeah.
I was watching your videos yesterday, and what I really liked, you know, you watch someone do a woodward edit, and you just see their tricks. And with you, I actually see that the whole park looks like I'm on the chairlift with you. I think that's really cool for people to look into. And, you know, these other pro snowboarders like Chris have done it such a different way. I got to commend you on taking your own line. And
times have changed.
Yeah.
Like, dramatically. Like, you can't be a pro snowboarder these days unless you take a different route. You know, like,
true.
It hasn't always been like it is, so adapting to the times is, but bringing people along, that's the sickest thing ever. A lot of people probably haven't been there or maybe won't be there or would like to go, and like I was saying earlier, I'll give them the run of where to stay, how to go, what the tickets are like, what the park looks like, when to ride, and they're just like, oh my gosh, so that alone was just super helpful.
Yeah, if I wanted to do a snowboard vacation, I could go through your days and be like, oh, this is what Japan's like. This is where he stayed.
I've done how to snowboard through Japan guide video, because it's like I did it twice, and I was like, I don't know if anybody could really do this. Like, I'm just winging it so hard. Like, we went to Japan 2 times with nowhere to stay and got there late, taking trains.
When things closed down in Japan.
Things are closed down. And shooting DMs, and then ended up finding people that let you crash at their spot that you're in Japan. You're just like, oh my gosh.
A lot of people could not even physically, mentally let themselves get off a plane without a place to stay.
For real. I actually
got you to do that.
I got to shout out this. So there's these homies that are, they weren't even homies. They were strangers to each other, but that all watched a similar, like, the array of snowboard vloggers. And there's a YouTube community that's like, they comment, they like, they're subscribed, they're in it, they're a part of it. And they set up a side group through the comments in the live chats and stuff. People from Oregon, Australia, New Jersey, and they all linked, helped each other pitch in. Some of them didn't have enough money, and they made a trip to Japan through the comment sections, had never met each other before, and got a spot there. And when me and my buddy Daly flew in, we had nowhere to crash, and we were coming in on the train. They reached out, and they were like, dude, we got a spot if you guys want to crash with us. And so we came through. And after, like, all the motivation that we gave to get them to get there, and they did it all together, and then we showed up, and then we were crashing with them. It was just like full circle, and it's so sick. And like, I love being brought down and humbled to that, and just being like, just like you guys. Like, I've only been here once. Like, you guys are honestly doing it more epic and gnarly than I've ever done. So it's so
talk
sick
about
to see that.
Strengthening the community too.
Yeah.
That's what that's it's so incredible. You know, like if you look at my career, the whole thing's been made on essentially making videos that I hope my friend likes, you know? And then what we're doing here is different because it's like, you know, and what you're doing is like, for us, we're like, hey, you're new to snowboarding, come on into the conversation, come on in, come chat with us. And what you're doing too is like, you know, you're new to snowboarding, like this is how you do it. This is what we do. And for me too, like I am a huge closeted like motocross vlog consumer, like and I watch all of them, and it's like because I'm not in it, I don't know anybody, and I'll watch I'll get a little morsel of like something the mechanic's doing, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. And I think that vlogs are awesome for people that aren't, like, we forget, because Buds and I mean, we've been in snowboarding for our whole lives, so we know exactly what forward lean is and everything else. And then, but when to break it down for, you know, somebody that's just getting into it and bring them in, I think vlogs are huge for the sport. But yeah, do you have any thoughts to add to any of that?
You're spot on with like the core audience of, it's difficult to take that step back and be like, all right, I'm not making this video to impress like the biggest or the best riders or the people that I'm influenced by, because they're out getting it probably just like me, too busy not consuming content. And 99% of the people that you're trying to help, that need your help, like you said, don't know how to tie their snowboard boots, or don't know what high back lean is, or don't know those things. And it's so dialed for us that we would never think that someone doesn't know how to tie their boots or get out of there. But like you go to the mountain, some people are stuck in their bindings, they don't know how their straps work, and they'll be trying it for 20 minutes, and you come over and you just
help them out.
Oh my gosh. So it ties into, like you were saying, where when you go to the mountain, it's like you're coming with me and you get to see all that stuff. But it's easy to get easy to get in your own head and like have it be all about you and talk too much. And then you really just got to give them the breakdown of like, because when you're saying about the full parts, or someone goes and ride, or your dad not knowing, like there's information that gets missed in videos because people are like nervous to like either talk on camera or something. But like a lot of the times you don't know if the place is open. You don't know, like, is it just you riding there? Like, what are the conditions? How big is this jump? Like, what? So if you're just like, yo, good morning, like it's 12 degrees outside right now, or 0 degrees, it's brick, then like they get a little bit of understanding of like why you might not be doing 1080s. And it's just like, how could you not give a little bit of info on the video that you're watching?
Now, I got a sidebar question, because if you look, you know, surfing, huge vlogs, moto, a lot of other sports, but in like specifically skate and snow, you don't see it really, aside from you and maybe a handful of others. But why do you think that is? Do you have any idea?
Snowboarders are just that cool guy thing in snowboarding. Everybody thinks they're so dope, and it's like, you probably are. So you should film and show people how sick you are. You're doing dope stuff. But I think they think they're making the videos for their friends who are nasty riders, and you're like, they're probably not even going to watch it, or if they do, it's one time, and they're not getting stoked and motivated from it, and they're not going to buy your merch. So it's like you want to give back to the people, the 99% of people that are there watching you for what it is, and that don't have those tricks. Snowboarders.
I think too, they don't want to be seen in those moments where they're not dope.
Yeah, but they're
like too scared of it. They've built this, manicured this image, and
it's also so difficult. And like, if you don't, like you were saying, the commitment to do it, I mean, you don't have to do every day, but like, you got to film, you got to edit, and you got to do all this stuff. And then that's not even done after that. Then you got to go through and you got to figure out where to share it, and you got to figure out who's going to share it. And then you got to make an Instagram clip from it, and then TikTok pops. And now you got to make another, so you got to resize it. And then you're like, should I be on all these apps? It's just a waste of my time. You're going through the comments, and then you got to ship the merch out. And you're just like, is it even worth it when I could just go get an Instagram clip and like get a budget from a company and just put out a full part? It's like, well, it's a lot easier.
Well, there's also just like asking why, I'm kind of thinking about it in my own head, and it's fucking kind of vulnerable. Like, people get scared to come on our show to talk because it's like, or talking into a camera and then putting it on the internet is a vulnerable situation.
Putting your life out there to everyone.
I think that, like, I'm guessing by watching you put out daily videos of just talking in the camera, putting it out, and people loving it, you've probably purged all your insecurities about it, right? You kind of purge your insecurities.
Yeah, 8-miled it. It's just, there's been so many things where I'm like, I got to post that. Like, I recorded it. I can't go back and do that again. Like, something super, like, you just don't want to show that. But you're like, well, it's going in. Like, I'm going to learn, and I'm not going to do that again next time. And so, like, it develops over time, and it definitely gets better. Every single video should get better if you're making an error and you're aware of it.
So let's get into Volcom Zip Tech.
Okay, Buds, what is Zip Tech?
Zip Tech is when you connect your jacket and your pants with a zipper, and this is patented by Volcom. I use it all the time. and simple to use. It's on men's, women's gear. It attaches via zipper and keeps the snow out.
Yeah, what are the benefits of that, buds?
Keeps you dry, keeps you going longer. I actually had a dream last night that I could connect my T-shirt. This is a real true story T-shirt to my long underwear. I'm just dreaming about Zip Tech.
Wow. Okay.
True story.
What riders use that?
All the Volcom riders. We got Pat Moore. This guy is basically mops himself up on the ground when he's snowboarding because he falls so much. Just kidding, Pat. Just kidding.
Awesome. Okay, so we got a little giveaway going on. What's happening?
We do. If you put hashtag volcombombproof on your favorite bales, we are going to check them out, and a Volcom rider will pick a winner. You're going to get some Volcom stuff and some bomb hole stuff. And
they upload it onto Instagram, right?
On
Just to be clear.
Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, so hashtag volcombombproof on your favorite bales, and we will pick a winner each week.
All right, we're going to get into a guest question. This one is presented by Mountain Dew. We got one of the Mountain Dew team riders, Julia Marino, and she came through with a good question. I'm curious to see your answer. Again, presented by Mountain Dew. Here we go.
What is the song on your snowboard playlist that you're most embarrassed to admit?
I don't even have a snowboard playlist. I just hit shuffle, but I would say I dropped a part one time that got shared on, was it Yo Beat when that existed? And the part was a banger, I thought, but people hated the song. So it was Hands Like Houses. I forget the name of the song, but every song that they put out sounds basically like that style, and I enjoyed it. I mean, you could probably find that video, but Hands Like Houses.
What kind of genre? I'm unfamiliar with their body of work.
Yeah.
I don't know, I literally have to look it up. I don't know. Just kind of like chill, like ambient, indie style.
And you just got a lot of comments of people.
Well, I think Yobi, you have to talk shit.
Yeah,
so they were just like, the writing wasn't too bad, the part wasn't too bad, and they were just like, well,
they
let's
needed
just rip
something.
up the music then.
Yeah.
The music sucks.
That is true. On Yo Beat, it was, you got to attack something.
Yeah.
Or else you can't even comment, really.
Other than that, my playlist is banger.
All right, let's pick up where we left off earlier, talking about the vlog stuff. One thing I'm curious about, and I think other people are too, is like, how do you make income doing it? How do you make money with a vlog?
Directly through the vlog would be ad revenue through Google AdSense. So just, watch time, views. They have a crazy algorithm that nobody understands. Everybody always wants like, how much do you get paid for 10,000 views? But it's like, it's watch time, it's click rates, it's ad through, it's all that stuff. And honestly, I just have like a lot of small incomes. So like all like commission, a bunch of companies I ride for, like we have the Gnar. It's just so many random little things that like add up to make me survive. Like I'm not over here guapping in cheddar, but I can go and do like a lot of things and travel and, live what people would call the dream sometimes for basically just covered. But yeah, commission, Google AdSense. I have my own merch line. Patreon supporters are the absolute legends that just make it all come together.
Same for us. I see you kind of organically plugging products on there sometimes. That like, like for example, bulletproof.
Yeah,
bulletproof.
Bulletproof.
It seems like how does
that would be. I spend money on stuff that I enjoy and that I really do use. So like something like Bulletproof, I was doing like 8 years before I started the vlog. I was doing that, and then once I start building a following, then you can reach out to the companies and be like, hey, this is what I can offer you. This is what you might get out of it. This is what I've done before. And I mean, it's nice to like rep the companies and show them beforehand rather than just like, I'm just gonna wait for a check until so it's like a payment thing. Like I actually do support that, and if I'm filming everything and I'm making coffee every morning and it's Bulletproof, or I take certain supplements and it helps me, like why not just give the information out, get people stoked, and then they tell the companies, the sponsors, whatever, like, yo, this is who I found it through. And a lot of them just, you can set up your own affiliate links. You can set up Amazon stuff where you can just take a camera that you use, put it in your link, someone clicks on it, you get a percentage. So it's not like a lot, but it's like all those different ad revenues, and then sponsors helping out with gas money and things like that. And then honestly living humbly, like trying not to blow cash. And
it seems like you're always packing up merch too. Like your gear seems like it's going off.
Yeah, people are stoked. It's hard to do. I've only done a couple drops over a couple of years, but yeah, people are stoked. They just want to support, and then having your merch out there is like, it's dope. It's free advertisement, and people are psyched on it. So,
and the How's Your Neck came from a sponsor too, right?
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole thing.
I don't even know. I mean, How's Your Neck came from like me and my buddy Jamal a long time ago. just being on the health kick and like nothing really that's good for you tastes good ever. So it's like, you just got to get it down your fucking neck, dude. Like that, at any means. If it's a green juice and people are like, ew, it tastes gross. It's like, close your eyes, clog your nose, get it down the hatchway. Like that's what's got to happen. And then it turned into your gullet, into your cuello. And it's like, really, to consume something, everything's got to go in your neck. So then that led into like somebody stomp something or like put something down. You're like, this dude just necked that feature. It's like, and then you're getting necked. If you bail, you're getting necked. So it's like, it's just basically everything, you know. And then at the end of the day, how's your neck? You know, like it's holding your head up. Are you on point? Like that's the structure of everything. So it's kind of just like
it's kind of like Wu-Tang's Protect Your Neck too. Huh? It all comes around.
Lil Wayne, like how's your neck and your Adam's apple?
And the RV was that was a sponsor? The Gnar?
The Gnar we purchased on our own. Me and my buddy Daly.
Did?
Yep. The U.S. Stoke was all time, and we were traveling around a bunch. Gas wasn't that bad back then. And we were like, dude, we got to get a bus. I mean, we just got to cruise around and hit all these different mountains and see these people that are claiming come to Ohio, come to Tennessee. You're like, you guys are snowboarding in these places? And then you show up and it was like, but yeah, that was the dopest investment we've ever had.
Yeah, because you were in a little van before, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Tiny little space for my body because it was loaded with hundreds of pieces of merch and like gear and snowboarding stuff and then filming stuff and surfing stuff. And it's just like my little body in there. Like, I was in a 91 Ford Ranger for a long time before that with a cap. I've been living in vehicles for a while.
Yeah, living in that car life, van life.
I want to just dive into this topic because there's something to be said here with, you're talking and you're like, we go to Japan with no plan. And I drive here and you got this like loose kind of like flying off the seat of your pants, however you want to say that slogan. Like you just kind of go, I don't want to say go where the wind takes you, but you're very comfortable not being in control of the situation and having faith that it's going to work out. Can you elaborate on that?
I think I'm like discovering a lot of this about me when you're asking these, but I feel like my mom sold our house when I was still a senior in high school. And that year she had moved up to New Hampshire. She was stoked and she bought a smaller house up there, but she like let us keep the crib down there so I could finish high school. And then she told me that was the last summer. And I really didn't, I don't know, I was young back then. I didn't want to go up and live with my mom in a different place, miss all my friends and stuff. So I had a pickup truck, and once summer was over and she bailed out, I just hopped in the pickup truck and I started living in it like right away, couch crashing on my friends. And so that was when I was like, I graduated at 17. So like 16, 17, 18, 19, I was just living off of whatever I had, working myself, living in my car, crashing at friends' houses. They would move, crash to a different place. So like, I think it's so natural for me to move all my stuff from the back of my truck up into the front of it every night, go in the back and sleep cold, wake up, move it all back into the back. And like, that's all I know.
Totally. But even on a bigger level though, I feel like, you know, talking about, you went to the Mayan temples and you meditated and you seem like there's the population of humans generally are like, I need to be in control. I need to like make sure everything's organized and I have control of my life. But it seems like you have like a higher spiritual connection where you're like, dude, I think everything's going to be all good. Does that align with your kind of perspective 100%. On life? 100%.
So I didn't even like bring this up, but when I was mentioning that like I changed my life and I found Mount Hood and like all the sponsors and stuff were coming and I got rid of like my cars and my girlfriend, I sold everything. And it was just like that time, I think it was 2011, something like that, 2011, 12. One of my buddies threw on The Secret, like the Rhonda Byrne Law of Attraction. I had no idea what was going on, but it was one of those things where you're like, fuck, I knew that this whole time, like inside, like, yeah, you think about stuff and you're like, it's going to come, blah, blah, blah. And I just like started applying that so heavily, but not just on the side of wishful thinking, like, oh, I'm going to sit here on the couch all day and just fucking think about this. And then I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be on it. Like, I'm in it where like, I'm going to think about this. That's going to spark ideas. I'm going to use that, grab a piece of paper and pencil, write down those ideas. Now that they're flowing, I'm going to take action on those ideas. And because I'm taking action, things are coming. And it's like this cycle. And I literally saw that shit start working and manifesting instantly. And I just started making like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to do this. And boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, holy shit, what can't we do? Like I could just, if I have enough money to buy a plane, I can just get on this plane right now and I'll just go over there. And once you do one of those things, like if you fly to say Austria by yourself for the first time ever, it just seems like this like gray, black area. Like you don't know the streets, you don't know people, But once you get there, you're like, Okay, I'm in the street, so there's a bus right there. Okay, that bus will bring me to Innsbruck. You get on the bus, it's $4. You're like, okay, now I'm in Innsbruck. Okay, find a place. Next thing you know, someone riding by on a bike, and they're talking shit. You guys are whatever, and they're like, oh, you need a place to crash. Next thing you know, you're crashing at their house, and they know you're homie. And then and then there's this connection, and you're just like, the more you do it, the more you realize it. And then once you have a couple good goes at that, and you're like, I just crushed this country that I've never been to. And you're like, well, how could Chile be much different, or how could New Zealand be? And if they speak English there, it's that much easier. And I think just the confidence from growing up like I did and being on my own and doing that kind of gave me like the leap of faith to do it. And then once I did it and started seeing immediately, I was like, I don't need any plans or anything, because most of the time you make a plan and it ends up bailing anyways, and then you're all freaking out. You're like, fuck, I booked this place, but it's not working. My credit card's not there. And you're like, if you don't have any plans and it can't really change, and it's just so much easier. Just to be like, if you know that you're able to handle any situation, like you're not going to die. It's not, if you have some cash and like there's places, there's people are amazing, dude. There's so many people that are down to help. And if you've ever seen somebody in need, like you get that feeling inside where you're like, I have the opportunity to help somebody out right now. Like let's fucking dial this in, because I'm probably going to need help, and it'd be sick if somebody helped me when I did it, and I have the means to dial them in right now. Like that's what this human experience like seems like it is, you know. Get people stoked and help each other out.
I love that. There's a lot there. That's a big thing with AA. When you go there, you think, oh, like the world's not working out for me, everything's against me, and the first thing they tell you to do, go help somebody, and you're like, oh, I feel great now. And then even more so though, going back to that, you know, a lot of people hate this because I say it with my friends that are going through hard things, and I'm always like, dude, the universe is going to work out how it's supposed to. Just let go. It's going to work out how it's supposed to. And it is like an uncomprehendable thing. And you seem to be a black belt in just being okay with how things are going to go. Like there's like a little bit of inner peace and the things that you do, you know. And do you attribute any of that to like meditation or anything like that, or what would you attribute that to?
Yeah, maybe meditation or just consciousness, or just like realizing, like you said, everybody's got crazy shit happening to them all the time that sucks. And it's like, well, how many epic things? Like, but for some reason, we always focus on the shitty ones. You have a banger day, like 3-4 weeks of just fire, and then you have one shitty day, and you're just, all you talk, humans just think about the shittiness, and you're just like, yeah. Well, I could look at you right now, and you're talking, and you're breathing, and you're still, you have food, you have shoes, you have like, I could list 500 things right now looking at you. You look good, you smell, like everything about you, you're total G. You crushed it last week, you know, one bad day, let this thing go by, and like, it's going to happen. Just, you can't change it. And if you can, act on it and change it. But if you can't accept it, because you're just going to feel so much better, and you're going to be able to, if you can change it, you're going to be in a better state to do that if you're not all.
Oh, I love it. I'm
amazing.
Reading this book right now called Letting Go that was sent to me by a friend, and I'm getting through it. And they basically, I'm going to try to say this without butchering it, but I believe they said negativity doesn't really exist. It's just a matter of perspective. Like things just happen. They just are. It's not what happens, it's how you react to it. So it's like, my car broke down. That's not a negative thing. That's not, but you can make it negative, and you can make it, it's not a negative thing. Your car broke down. Okay, deal with it. Well, sweet, I get to walk somewhere, you know, and that perspective that you have of like, you just radiate positivity. I think that a lot of people are just, they can't get out of their own way because they're so fucking negative, you know, myself included. And so, you know, going back to like that type of thing that you're doing with your vlog is like kind of spreading positivity where people can go, oh, dude, you radiate good energy. People want to be around you. And
yeah.
That's killer.
I mean, I've gotten robbed for everything that I own publicly 2 or 3 times.
Straight robbed, is that what you said?
Yeah, broke into my car, took everything, hard drives, footage that I have stacked for mad long, like just such sentimental things, insane, just computers and cameras and everything. And it's just like, am I going to cry? Like,
yeah, it's material.
How much stuff did you just have to lose? Like you just had a computer, you just had a camera. Like you have sponsors, you can hit up your sponsors right now and tell them what happened. They can send you some new gear. Like you have support from other people. Like you're still alive. Like you can get murked. Like you're still healthy. You're not in the hospital. There's so many. It's all perception, and your body reacts to that like crazy. It's really unhealthy to overreact, and it's like you said, it's pointless because it's happening. It's not good. It's not bad. It happened. If you wanna handle it, and you'll be in a better position to do so if you're calm and you know that like it's gonna work out.
It's all about how you handle it, huh?
It's always worked out.
Yeah.
You're still here. All the bad stuff that's happened before has worked out. So like, what is it? This too shall pass. It's like
same stuff.
I like how you were talking about the secret and a law of attraction. And a lot of people do just sit on the couch
That's so frustrating.
Yeah, and they think like I'm doing it, I'm manifesting, but I think the actual secret.
Can you actually elaborate on what exactly that is, like in a little bit more detail?
Like the actual movie in the book?
Just in general, yeah, like maybe the bullet point of what the overall thing is, because you talked about it, but it didn't exactly explain what it is. And I actually don't exactly remember it.
It's just, I mean, I didn't write the book. I don't know. This is just me talking about it, but it's like we're obviously, we're made up of energy, and energy attracts energy. It's all measurable and all that. So it's not like voodoo. It's real, and it's happening all the time, and you've seen it. And when you have a shitty day and something spirals out of control because you're thinking about that, and something happens, and then honestly, it's just your perception. You're looking for shitty things to happen when they happen all day long. I stub my toe all the time, but on a bad day, you stub my toe. See, oh, I hit this. See, I broke this. And you're just looking for that. I could have done that to you yesterday, but you had like 800 good things going on. So it's just emitting a frequency into the universe, like you said, which is going to happen regardless, and it's going to do its thing. It's been doing its thing. It's going to keep doing its thing. Humans are just pretty recent, and when you work with that instead of against it, and you put out good energy, like you said, helping people, then maybe that same person, that energy will help you back. Like it's math or it's energy or whatever it is, but it's obvious and it's real, and we can all feel it. And some people can hone in on it. And I'm just super grateful that I discovered it early. And that maybe it's not even true, but if it works for me, there's so many.
We got these crazy monkey brains that want to sabotage us at all times. So how can we hack them so we can actually, like, we aren't just getting in our own way? And
that's biohacking.
Yeah, exactly. And
because that meat is trying to keep us alive from a time period where things have changed and it's not the same. So that email that comes through that gets your cortisol spiked up is the same thing as when you've seen that tiger and now you're freaking out. But you're literally, it's an email or a text message or a girl that you're trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just sabotaging ourselves.
And everybody struggles with it too. And going back to what you said earlier, I read this book called Ego's the Enemy, a really great book. And they're talking about how, you know, the ego likes to be right? It really likes to be right. So when you're like, you know, that would happen to me, right? So like when something bad happens to you and you're like, oh, that would happen to me. You're basically you're just trying to be right. Like you're just trying to be right for your ego. So people would rather be right than happy. Their ego would rather keep them right than be happy. So they're like, yeah, this, you know, whatever it is. So that negative cycle just perpetuates. And then going back to where you can switch it up. And if you can change your perspective, which you have a fucking glorious perspective, life inherently gets better and good luck follows you around, you know?
It brings you to that second or that third person behind that then gets to watch the ego and is like, what is this fucking guy claiming over here? Like, that's a terrible idea.
100%. I love this stuff. Well, let's get into a guest question from Mike Dossie. Now, the guest question is presented by Capita Snowboards. Capita is coming on. This is the first episode that they're a sponsor of. They're supporting myself. They're supporting the show. And the guys over there in the office, they love the bomb hole, and they are diehard snowboarders. This is a privately owned snowboard company. These are people that rely on snowboarding to pay their bills, to feed their families, all these types of things. And you know, Capita, owned by snowboarders, it's just cool to keep it in the circle. It's not going to some big conglomerate. And just so grateful, so happy to be a part of Capita here at the Bomb Hole and everything else. But let's get into a guest question from Mike Dossie. Here we go.
What's up, Bomb Hole? Mike Dossie here, coming to you live from Beijing. I got a guest question for Casey Willax, a.k.a. C-Dubber. Casey and I grew up in the same hometown of Colchester, Connecticut. Shout out. I've been watching this kid drop full parts since he was probably 13 years old, and he was ollieing off roofs and traveling the world as a Grom. And, you know, I want to know, you've had your eyes set on your goals for a very, very, very long time. And, you know, give us some examples of times where you've struggled to find motivation and find creativity. And, like, how did you get through those times? Was it just drinking a gallon of veggie juice and calling it a day and just hopping on the wagon, or what is it, man? And, you know, I know personally I struggle with some things like that, and I know other people probably do too. So hope you guys have a great episode, and thanks so much.
We got to get a double air horn for
that. Live from Beijing.
Can we give him the super air horn? Let's give him the super.
Miguel Dawson.
All right, that gets a little obnoxious. We'll tone it down.
That's so deserved. You have no idea. That kid is, I mean, first of all, the answer is him for one of them. Like having homies like him who are on the same mindset as you, and when you're not the only one up at midnight still going, and he's also there too, and 1 o'clock rolls around and you're just like, we're doing this together. Like, you don't feel like you're the only one up. Everybody else is sleeping, and then you crash out and you wake up at 6 a.m. and homie's right there too, doing the same thing, and they're on the same vibes. And then you can actually work together where, like he said about the veggie juice, maybe I make him a veggie juice one time, I make double, and then the next time he makes it for me, it's like, it's that teamwork. And I got to bring it back to my brother is so insane. I can't even believe that he's a human or that he's my brother. He's in 2 full bands, has toured the world in both of them. He's the most insane videographer. He comes on and helps me with my videos sometimes and just takes like everything to the next level. And watching him hammer through the things that we've been through in life together is just like, anytime that I feel like I'm slipping up or something, he posts something or he does something, or I watch it or I see where he's at, and I'm just like, this is what we're doing. And it brings me back to my dad, and it brings me back to my brother, and it just brings me to this whole state where I'm like, there's no other option, dude, because it's so short, or it could be so short, and you got to take every moment for granted, or not take every moment for granted.
So I know you talked about losing your father briefly, but I know you had another brother that passed away. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I almost touched on it when I was saying in the beginning how, when you're 9 years old, maybe you're frothing, living your life as best you can for your dad until you're 10, 19 or something like that. And like that, anything fades. Like you lose that drive for what that was. And I honestly feel like right around that time period was right when like I needed a boost. And it's like, I don't know how anybody could ever think about that as like a way to like, my brother passing came right into me, and I had a whole entire another human being's worth of energy in me. And then so did my brother. And just like the day that it happened, we just looked at each other and we're like, are we going to fucking sit here and mope right now? Or are we going to do exactly what we need to do, which is literally go paddle out right now and go surf and be, like, this is a day. This is one day out of however many more we're going to get. We just realized how fragile this shit is. Let's go do like what is exactly that we want to do right now, because we're going to do that today and we're going to do that tomorrow. And like all the motivation comes from him and just having friends that are like there to back it with you. And like I have some other homies too who are like, they'll sit there with me, not even editing, just because they're not going to bed until I am. And I'm just like, dude, that is the most savage thing ever. So that community is what keeps me going, the boys.
Do you think that, I think that losing friends, family is like probably one of the hardest things you can deal with in life. But do you think that gave you a bit of a perspective shift on, I mean, you touched on it briefly, how fragile it is and big, I mean, I'm going to speak from my experience, but it feels like it gives you a perspective where you're not looking from the ground level. You zoom out, you look at the bigger picture, you go to somebody's funeral, you realize like what life's all about when you're at somebody's funeral and like what's really important. Or things like that. Did you get any type of perspective shifts from that?
My whole life shifted, everything. And like I said, I felt like I was kind of coming down from like just crushing it so hard because I had been at Hood by myself, training, like not talking to anybody, just waking up, jogging, sleeping in the rest area there in my truck, going to Hood, and like it just gets tired, and then you travel, and then it just starts to seem normal almost, and you're like you're not being grateful for the fact that you're in Austria. It's like you're just there again, and yeah, having a whole paradigm shift like that just set me right back to phase 1 where it's like, all right, this is, yeah.
What about also the other thing too, I think that strength, it boosts your spirituality on a lot of levels. You can go a couple different ways. You can kind of like numb out and try to not feel anything, or you can kind of boost your spirituality to try to feel more connected to the ones you've lost. Did that, I don't know, I'm not fishing for anything, but I mean, did you feel any type of boost in spirituality in that way?
100%. Yeah, then the connectedness between my family grew even harder. And then it's like, not only do I have to do this for me, but it's like, now I got to make my mom so fucking stoked. And I just want my mom to see everything I'm doing, being like, I can't even control this kid. I trust everything he's doing, and he's out of his mind, and I'm so supportive of it. And to have my mom even be in that position is like, I'm so grateful for her, from letting me go skateboard when I was 8 years old at school, hiding, waiting for all the buses to leave and then going, to like making sure like if you guys are going to do something, do it here. Like I'm going to be in control of every situation as best as I can to make sure that you guys aren't just going and doing shit freely and wildly, when you could have like a safe zone to do it properly. And yeah, my mom is everything. She's such a fucking tank.
Yeah. How old were you when you lost your brother?
2012, so I was 22.
It's tough.
So I want to paint a picture of your mom too, because Dossie was saying that she's just like a badass, like tattoos, just kind of just like crushing woman. Let's give her an air horn while we're
Yeah,
at it.
she sounds like an awesome.
She got
awesome
two sleeves.
Yeah.
Fully
Two
tatted.
sleeves.
Yeah, she retired is right when she wanted to. She worked 50 years as a nurse, just taking care of people. Like, I couldn't even imagine what that would be like. And she retired and picked up a Harley. She'd never ridden a motorcycle in her life. And my dad was huge into bikes, and they always rode together. And she retired, moved up to New Hampshire, like near Bike Week and all that. And she's super East Coast, hardcore. She'll shovel your whole driveway right in front of you. And she bought 2 Harleys, and she's just been ripping around on Harleys, sleeved up. She travels wherever she wants to go. She rents a hotel. It's just crazy. My mom wants to go to Mexico. She goes to Mexico. She wants to come hang out with me and my brother. She comes hang out with us. She cares about nothing more than just honestly taking photos and documenting what she's doing. She's just so on it and just hanging out with us and just loving life. Like, watching my mom handle life and honestly just enjoy life. And going back to The Secret, I think she for sure doesn't know what The Secret is, but she's lived it right in front of me at that age where you're absorbing everything and it's kind of developing how you're going to live. And just watching her handle situations that were like super gnarly, but just this is a situation. She still does it to this day where I'm like, oh my God, this is aggressive. And she's like, oh, we'll have somebody come over and we'll get it fixed tomorrow. And then we'll figure out, I can figure out something. I'm like, well, you were calm and you just handled that properly.
It's good to have good role models like that. You learn a lot. And there's another thing I want to touch on too. You talk about, the way parents want to give their kid everything, right? You want to give your kids the things you didn't have, or do everything, do your kids' homework, take care, be there, hovering over your kid at all times. But then you look at the inverse factor. You're the result of parents that had a very loose leash that you could do whatever you want, and that creates a wild sense of independence at a young age too, and that's almost can be more beneficial if you got on the right path.
When you learn the failures yourself, it sticks and you don't forget it. When somebody tells you to do something, you're almost like, is it you're trying to,
yeah, 100%.
And then it happens, you're like, oh shit, they told me not to do it. I did it anyways. I'll never forget that. Yeah,
and it sounds like your mom had a lot of trust too.
Yeah.
And you would tell her.
We're also 3 dudes who it's
Yeah.
like, she kind of didn't have a choice either.
True.
Like, she didn't have my dad there to be like,
Get
I'm
these
gonna go
guys
get
in
your father
check.
and
Yeah.
come down and whoop your ass. It's like,
She had the trust and counted on you guys to do the right thing, and you did.
Yep. It was
What an awesome lady.
There's a lot of variable combos that happen. I'm so grateful for it, for sure.
Hey, I got a Patreon question for you along these lines, maybe. This is from, well, first of all, thank you to all the Patreon members.
Appreciate you guys. This is a podcast. Thank you to our sponsors, huge help, but mainly podcast funded by the people, you guys listening. So for all you guys that support, you help us do this. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
we really
you.
appreciate it. We get to have these awesome conversations with people like Casey. So
This is from Seth Milano. What are some life lessons you've learned so far in these past years? Kind of a deep question, but
deep, vague question, but
Yeah.
I back it.
Yeah, I think just the vulnerability thing. Just don't really worry too much about, what other people are thinking about you if you know deep down that it's like what you want to do and it's not hurting anybody, and if it's helping other people, like just stop worrying about other people. That's where so much insecurities come from, is worrying about other people's judgments, and it just literally doesn't matter, because as soon as they're done judging you, it's like it was like a 2-second thing, and they're probably never going to think about you again, and like it's actually your life and you're doing it, so like do it.
yeah, do it. Don't try to live up to what they want.
I want to add to that too, because their judgment of you is more of a reflection of themselves than it is about you. It says
all
more
it
about
is.
them than it does about you.
Well,
So-
how easy is it for you to sit and watch your daily vlog and judge and talk shit? And
Especially if you've never seen it before, and you
Yeah.
come into an episode where it's just like 2-3 minutes of neck of me breaking down some stuff that like they don't even know about.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm addressing all the other people that like know what's going on. It's like if there's 99% of people are stoked on, there's one person that's not. And
Yeah.
you're like, all right, well, why aren't they stoked? Oh, it's a misperception. They're messed up. Their day might have been screwed. And you're like, all right, don't even trip over it. Keep doing what you're
something
doing.
cool I saw in your videos too is when you bump into someone and they're like, I'm the reason I'm living. You're the reason I'm moved out to Park City and got this job.
Yeah, and
it
you're the
seems
reason
like
I
that
make these videos.
happens a lot, right? These
Yeah.
people come and find you, and
Like the Patreon supporters, they're the ones that are make it happen. So like,
Yeah.
it's definitely difficult because it happens a lot, and you're like, you're not always hyper stoked, but like you got to pull it out, and you're like, it might be their only chance ever that they get to meet somebody that they're stoked on. So like,
and I saw you like took a run with one of them too.
oh yeah, you got to
probably do that all the time,
and
huh?
you got to get them stoked because like they've been waiting a long time for that, and it's like they are the reason that I'm able to do everything that I do. So it's like if I can't take 10 seconds, take a photo and get some stoked. I'm like, what am I even doing? It's
Yeah.
all a
Dude,
lie.
and you watch somebody's vlog, you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's different than like seeing somebody's part. You're like, I know this person.
That part gets really confusing sometimes
Yeah.
because people are super socially awkward and they'll roll up like no intro, like, yo, Casey, dude, what's good? And I'm
Yeah.
like, what's up, brother? And they're just like, hell yeah. And I'm like, do I know you? Or like, you don't know if you know them
Yeah.
or not. So you're like,
They know you.
but then sometimes they did. I met them 3 times, and
Yeah.
like, we've done this, and I'm like, oh shit, like now I remember. But it's like, yeah,
Also, the side note, it's like our brain's like a hard drive, and it only has a certain amount of capacity of memory.
isn't it low? Like the amount of people you can remember,
yeah.
it's like 200 or less
Yeah,
than that.
totally.
You only have like 12 best friends, they say, or something crazy.
Is that the word?
I definitely don't quote me.
Yeah. So another thing too I want to talk about is like, all right, there's probably a lot of people that are thinking about starting a vlog or want to put out some type of consistent content. What advice do you have for those people?
Make sure it's sick. You know, if you're gonna put out content, it's got to be epic. You got to be sending it somewhere. You got to be throwing down, or you got to be like giving inspiration. But as much as you want to make the content for yourself and have it be like dope to look back at later, you're not paying yourself the money, or you're not supporting yourself. So like you're making the content for other people. So try to bring as much value as you can to others. So whether you're better at teaching something or whatever niche you have, bringing value to others is what's going to get people to come back and be stoked on watching your stuff. And then you can filter in like your actual stoked, like things that you're hyped on that aren't really like bringing value to others, but except maybe entertainment or something.
Wow, that's a good scientific kind of diagnosis of how to break it down, because I think the thought process is not that generally. It's my life's cool. I'm going to
Yeah.
film it.
Yeah, show
Check
off.
me out.
Yeah, which is check me out.
Instead of actually giving value, which is what people is going to bring people
Yeah.
back every time.
What
I've done
about
and still do.
consistency too?
Consistency is everything. That's what gets. That was my biggest thing, is I knew I was never going to be like the best snowboarder putting out the best parts. So if you're trying to get a group of people to understand and like follow along with your life, then like they got to watch your stuff every day. And if you get consistent, then they get into a routine. And if you drop a 10, 12-minute video every day and they're stoked, they wake up, they make their coffee, 8:30, sit down, watch a 12-minute video, get hyped for the day, like, okay, and then we're out there. So consistency is huge. Plus YouTube rewards like crazy for consistency.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Killer.
Seems like you have the formula dialed.
Well, I think
I don't know.
it's a perfect
Just wing it.
segue for a fan favorite. And again, I don't know if this is a fan favorite, but I like it. What about you, Buds?
Yeah.
All right, you know what we're getting into, Buds?
Name that video part.
Oh boy. Kind of been dreading this.
I'll tell you what, being that you get these 4 Mammoth tickets, I think it is a fan favorite.
It is.
I've
yes.
seen it in the comments.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
name that video part's presented by Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth, one of my favorite places to ride. I just found out on an email I'm going there in the spring to take some park laps at the end of March. Can't wait. Their park is always firing. They have the best jumps. If you want to learn from a 10-foot jump up to like, they got some 70, 80-foot hogs there usually, especially later in the season. I know they just had a contest with an insane slope style course. So what about you, Buds? What are you into over there?
Just the vibe in Mammoth is awesome. You know, you get to bump into guys like Harrison, a.k.a. Mammy Swag.
Yeah, Gordy, shout out.
Just watch Dusty from the lift, just sleeper airs all day. Blum in those parks.
He's kind of misty, though. You might
he's
not,
misty,
you
but
might catch him in the trees.
You catch him mistying around, and you're just like, man, this is the spot. Good vibes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mammoth Mountain. Again, if you know the second video part song, not the one we're giving to Casey, the second one, we'll be giving away 4 lift tickets to Mammoth Mountain. Let's get into, also, if you're up there, make sure to tag them at Mammoth Mountain. That's huge. They love that. But let's get into it. So what's your confidence level, Casey, 0 through 10?
2.
2, okay.
Not bad.
So I knew you're a big Torstein guy, but I was trying to, like, I usually kind of rip these from the internet. I couldn't rip a Torstein part, so I'm sorry. That was my only intel I had about. So I just shot in the dark. I didn't know. Well, let's see how you do. Here we go.
So I need to know because I don't know how to.
You're saying that's not Torstein?
That's not Torstein. Yeah, just to let you know that's
Didn't
not
sound
Torstein.
familiar. Classic song.
Yeah, it's Tom Petty. Great tune. Oh. I can point you in a couple. I can give you a couple crumbs.
Let me get a pointer.
He's originally from New Jersey.
That's a huge crumb.
That's a big crumb. He founded a giant glove company.
I can only see.
Might make it worse.
I can only imagine. I can only think of 2 pro snowboarders from Jersey.
He founded a giant glove company that I don't think it exists anymore, but it was huge for a while. And he's also an Olympian in halfpipe.
I can't blow this, huh?
You can't blow this. The glove company was named after like an explosive army device.
Grenade?
Yep. So there's a crumb. So he founded Grenade. Yes, there it is. You got it right.
Wow, those crumbs.
We're going to give that to you. We're going to give that to you.
2 out of 10. Huh?
It's
Yeah, 2 out of 10. So
more
you got
of a participation award.
Yeah,
Should've
you
said 1.
Yeah, so that's we got all kinds of bomb hole merch in there. Yeah, that's a participation award at this
Everybody wins.
point. No, he did technically say it without us saying his
We
name.
didn't say his name.
Yeah,
I technically wasn't even snowboarding when that was the biggest as it had been.
true. Yeah, I thought you were the same age as me, but you're a little younger.
I was trying to study everything in like a couple of years, and it's just a lot to learn.
And you're pumping
There's a
out
lot to
content.
learn these
A lot of
days.
people, a lot of
Yeah.
parts, a lot of companies, and they keep switching. It's
Yeah. It's
All right,
hard
let's
to
get
keep up with.
into song number 2. This is for the listeners to win those tickets. To comment, if you know the song, you comment on Casey's Instagram photo, like the thumbnail photo.
That's
when
the
it comes
most
out.
important thing because I had people DMing me answers.
No.
And yeah, they got to put it in the right spot if you want to win.
And then the first person to comment, they get the tickies. Here we go.
Got me unaware. Don't wanna die.
That's a classic part. Well, thank you guys for playing.
It's
in my
amazing
video
people
part.
get these.
yeah, I knew that one.
All right, I talked to Scotty Lago yesterday for a little bit, and he mentioned that you got a pro model coming out with Lago snowboards. Huge congrats on that. It's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
How are we feeling about that?
That's beyond a dream. I don't even know. There's no words for it. I'm so grateful, so stoked.
So what do you think it means, like in this day and age, to be a pro snowboarder?
That's the hot topic these days. That's all the controversy. When you were snowboarding, there's maybe a stray path, but it was one thing. You got to ride for a brand. They got to be stoked. You got to be putting out full parts. You got to be winning contests. You got to work your way up through the AM team. You have to be absolutely disgusting. You have to be at a professional riding level, and yeah, then they move you from AM, and hopefully you get a board and you're pro. And it's just not the same anymore. There was no Instagram back then. You couldn't do it on your own, and now you're able to build an entire brand on your own without even having any sponsors. And so there's that weird cliche thing where everybody says that once you start making money in something, you're pro at it, but it's just definitely not true. And then maybe to the next level of like, once it's your main source of income, then you're a pro. But I just always feel like the word professional means like mastering that art of something. So if like you need to be one of the tiered riders that are like at that level. And I mean, I'm not putting down triples. I don't really have a desire to. I could do 1080s and I do stuff like that. I class myself definitely as a really good rider. But my friend Ben Gravy, same kind of situation I'm in, and he's so good at surfing, and he's got pro models, and it's just that contradictory thing of like, is he pro? Is he not? And he coined it as semi-pro, and it's just always been funny and light, and it like makes more sense because nowadays you can start up a YouTube channel and you can have all of your money coming from that. And is that because I'm snowboarding, or is that because I'm making the edits? Am I a filmer? Am I an editor? Am I a a media? Like, what really is it? And I just think that we're in an era where the line is so skewed. And I'm not trying to make any crazy claims and call myself a professional snowboarder, because I've been looking up to professional snowboarders my entire life and getting inspiration from them. And I haven't done a lot of the things that they've done. So semi-pro is kind of.
When a layman walks up to you and they ask you, what do? You don't say pro snowboarder.
I would say I snowboard for a living and make videos and stuff. I mean, if it was like a situation where it was like an older, like a grandmother, and she was just like, doesn't really
make it easy on her.
It's because, yeah, like my whole entire life is snowboarding. I travel from country to country, I constantly snowboard, put out content. I get freaky, like have a board in my name. Like it's so much easier to be like, yeah, I'm semi-professional.
Let's break this down to what it is too, because if you look at skateboarding is really kind of probably the North Star for a lot of this. And if you want to skate in Tampa Pro, the contest, there's Tampa AM, Tampa Pro. Like Tyson Bowerbank was telling me, the way they decide who's in it is who has their name on a board, basically. Once you have a name on a board, you are on the pro level. So by those definitions, I think you should feel damn fine saying I'm a pro snowboarder, you know? And then even going back to, it's an interesting one, because do you feel like it's interesting how the industry doesn't maybe like the the nucleus of brands that have teams and make videos, like maybe don't view the vlog, like the way you put out content and the amount of people you influence as like, it doesn't fit into that box of like the proper team for a lot of these brands. Like, what's your relationship with the industry and that stuff? It's kind of a vague question, but
I think it's the dopest thing ever that we live in a time where you can make money and support and do everything on your own.
Yes.
It's like, it's really annoying sending out emails and trying to like propose things and building decks, and like shout out to Dossie for doing basically all that for me. He shoots emails. He's made up Gnar tour decks where we can send them out, and I mean, when you have something to offer to a company, it's different, and you can like actually give them real like pastime sales and stuff like that, and like getting actual, it's just hard to get actual sales. So if you can really do that, then like you're an asset to a company, and it's
well, there's also, it's another conversation piece too, because we're in a similar boat too, because you can be a pro snowboarder by selling, or you be a pro snowboarder by doing the best tricks, right? But ultimately why a brand has you on is to sell snowboard products, right? And how do you do that? You influence people. You influence people through, you know, whether it's your lifestyle, your edits, whether it's the best tricks ever made or a daily edit, you're influencing people that rock with you, that want to buy your stuff. And it's crazy because your statistics are so tangible. Like how many views a year do you do? Do you know roughly off the top of your head? But it's got to be like close in the M's, right? It's got to be
I think it's 100K a week in the winter or something like that.
Yeah, a week. So 100K a week, right? Some people, they film the most insane video part of their life and it gets like 10K views. You're doing 100K a week, right? And so it's just, you know, that's easily into the millions of views a year. And so it's like, it's funny how that's like such a tangible, like there's millions of people watching.
His is more pointed at the people that are buying products.
Yeah, but then the brands,
to the small group that all gets it for free as well.
Yeah, and then most of those people that watch don't understand what that part is that you're watching, because as I've gotten better and I've learned more tricks, once I put down my first 9, I'm like, oh, that's what the trick is. And he's doing a switch now. I'm like, wow, that's like, it resonates more and you understand it. But I've made like a Japan movie, and it's like I've gotten less views on like full year recap things that I've done than just like I did this to my snowboard, and then like this is why it's, you leave them with like an opening where they're like, what, they have to click on it, and you watch it, and then you get 100,000 views or something. And you're like, you put so much work into a full 2-week or 3-week or a full season part, and then it gets like half or a quarter of it, and you're like, I know that's better, but how do you
teach them how to make a better turn, and you're gonna get 100,000 views? Because
they all need to learn how to turn.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that don't know how to turn.
They're doing it wrong out there.
Yeah, it's like the people that are watching already know how to backlip, already know how to front 7, the core parts, but then there's the majority of population of snowboarding hasn't gotten to that level, and it's like that huge sliver of the pie is like kind of, there's not that many people talking to them. Like,
yeah, you're gonna leave them out.
Yeah, you can't leave them out.
Ones.
And they're the ones buying the most product, I'd imagine.
And they're gonna be the ones that are sick, they're getting sick. They're probably younger, and they're gonna get better at riding. And it's like, yeah, to influence the sport and have people. That's the best thing ever. But to touch on like not having to go to the sponsors for money and being able to do that, even if it's less, it's like you don't have incentives where like you're doing something and you have to make sure that we forgot to this, or like put this brand here, and then they want more incentives, and then it just creates a lot more work. So like it actually is work. So you're paying for it, but it's nice to be able to do at least some stuff on your own. And
there's nothing better than being able to do things on your own terms. Doing whatever the fuck you want to do on your own terms, and not having to be like, well, I got to do this because the sponsor needs me to do it. And
I'd rather do it for free. And if they've been helping you out and hooking it up, and then you know, you give that back to them, then they're like, oh my gosh, okay, I know who's going to do something for me, so I know who to help out when they need it.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff because I don't know if everybody knows how the snowboarding industry kind of works. You know,
I'm sure a lot of people don't.
You got a Patreon question, Buds?
This is from Nate Robertson. It seems almost as blogs have replaced video parts for the younger generation of rippers. For me, video parts were the foundation of how I got hooked on snowboarding. How do you use your influence to preserve the culture of snowboarding that we all know and love?
I'm just pushing the stoke. You know, there's nothing more important than when you're out there than getting stoked. So it's like if I can just show people how much fun you can have in every single condition, and you can still film, like we were talking about how the full part comes out, And there is so much hard work and so much bails and commitment and setup and dedication and just like absolute insanity that goes into it that is so disrespected, because they'll never know. And you've no idea how many winches broke or how much gas you're spilling, or if you got fucked with by the cops or like whatever's going on. So you could make, I mean, there could be vlogs around video parts where they go to a street spot and they show what they're going to hit, and they show some shitty tricks or their bails and their attempts on it, and then stack those clips up. You could still put out a full video part at the end of the year. I try to still do that all the time, for sure.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's also sick too, talking about all this stuff. I got to make a bullet point too, because it's like, it doesn't all need to go in one direction. We need vlogs. We need the niche video that's like very core. We need the big backcountry video. We need contests. We need beginners. We need people that just want to carve and do how-to tutorials. It all makes it work. It's
and
not.
We need the snobs too.
Yeah, we need the elitists.
Yeah,
we need the elitists to sit there and
keep
point,
everyone in check.
And you know, you need people that make snowboarding look fucking cool. You know, a lot of times like that stuff, you're like, damn, look at it, look fucking cool. You know, and so
let them do it.
Yeah, it's just cool how it's like there's and the lines are blurred, but it all makes it work. You know.
100%. We need all that. We don't really need the hate in it all. Mm-hmm. We just need everybody to do what they want. If some people they feel more comfortable being told when to drop in a specific condition that maybe I don't, and they could put down their heaters, then like sick. Well, that's what you should be doing. If you don't even want to go into the terrain park and you're just trying to ride glades or something, like that's what you should be doing. If you don't want to put your snowboard high backs showing and you want to put your high backs hit, like do whatever you want to do, bro. It's as long as you're out there stoked and like you're not bringing people down, like that's what we need.
Positivity and getting people out there.
We need full banger parts though, for sure. We need to be.
Yeah, there needs to be people pushing the sport.
Watching the X Games, man, I was nervous for these kids having to drop in and do those tricks they have to do. I mean, the Olympics are going to be out of control.
Olympics are crazy.
Imagine being that kid strapping in up there like, all right, I just got to do what that guy just did.
Yep. Can you imagine, this is the other thing too that's also another factor. Imagine being like 8 years old, I don't know, maybe being 10 years old, and you're just getting into snowboarding, you just learned how to do like a 180, and you flick on the screen and you watch the Olympics and you see somebody do a 19 fucking 80. And you're like, and you're like, I have to learn how to do that.
Like, that's what I got to do.
I can barely hit the kicker in my backyard. Like this is fucking mental.
And it's a 16-year-old kid doing it. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Or when the triple goes down in the pipe.
Oh yeah, nuts. But then that's what's awesome about people like Scott Stevens, right? Because it's like he can snowboard on a rock.
Yeah,
let's give him an air horn.
And make it look awesome.
Yeah, snowboard on a rock in front of his house. And that's something you can, like Blue said it really well. He's like, you can try to do that, like, but you won't be able to
do it like him.
But you're not, and that's another thing about what you guys do. It's like, it makes it, okay, this is accessible. Like I can go to the park with my friends, and not that they can front nine the jump, but they can probably at least relate to what you're doing, you know.
And you can give them some tips on how to hit the jump with some more speed, so that way there's not people casing the jump all around you, or give them some tips on how to not go in the landing. Like that's crucial.
Do you do that stuff in your vlogs?
Tips for sure, and like I've done full on terrain park etiquettes, just ruthless day in the park. Just we're doing this right now. Roll the camera. 30 tips that you need to know before you enter the terrain park. Is
like on a busy park day, you'll go and do that?
Yeah. No, I've just done,
I've done
one
your own
massive 30-minute just.
Did it go off?
Terrain, yeah.
I bet. That's so good.
Well,
That's so cool for people to
hit
see.
a couple bullet points right now while we're on it, because there's some people that probably need to hear this.
Oh my God, there's so many. I mean, you shouldn't even go into the park if you haven't like dialed in your riding yet, because a lot of people will just like arms up, just a little bit out of control, heading into the park, and you already know. You're like, oh boy, and they're coming right towards a rail. I would say, dude, there's so many. If you're stopped, look uphill before you drop, because the park is made to flow through, and some people just want to flow through it. So if you stopped and you're doing something, just make sure you look uphill before you drop in. Never, ever go into the landing. Never cruise over the backside. You're going to get smoked. And the third biggest one is like if you fall and you're able to, get out of the way as quickly as possible, or else you could make it worse for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just yesterday at Woodward, I went off one of the jumps, and as I came around on a cab 5, there was 2 skis on the knuckle and a kid running up the landing.
Straight up.
And I had to do, like, luckily land toe hook and just
he was running right up where
little
you were going to
10-year-old skier kid, just 2 ejectors, just right.
Oh, he ejected.
Yeah, but
almost one more for the advanced rider and every rider is when you see something like that, X a jump off, because it's you know what I mean, that could be you, and you could be really in control and be on point. But if there's somebody like that in the landing, I've seen people just sitting there filming on the knuckle, and they're just looking.
Yeah,
and someone goes
and they
over
could have
and
stopped
you
it,
could have X'd it off, and let somebody know. That's so crucial.
Throw the DMX X up.
DMX.
That's universal. Okay, I think it's time to get into the pub beer crapshoot. So here we go.
Nice.
Welcome to the Pub Beer Crapshoot.
Pub Beer, huge supporter of the show. We, they support us. You should support them. If you're going to go crush some can responsibly, pick yourself up a Pub Beer. They help us live the dream here. So support the ones that support us.
Cheap, fun beer.
Yeah, their motto's cheap, fun beer. Now, so what happens is you roll the dice. Whatever it lands on, we'll tell you what you got to do. There's 2 through 12.
Roll them both.
Roll them both. Goon Gears is 6.
So we got a 7.
So 7. Who's one of your favorite people to party with? 7.
And it can be back when you partied, obviously.
Or you party sober.
Yeah.
Easy. Jamal Cunningham, my homie.
Jamal gets that air horn.
He's great for a lot of other things too, but he had a phase where he was the one. You want to party with this guy.
Love it. Well, let's change gears into surfing, because I've seen, you just got this like deep passion for surfing. And how did that come about, and why do you like it
There's
so much?
no waves in Connecticut, are there?
I've scored in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't grow up surfing at all. I think I might have done like a Narragansett day when I was like 13 or something one time. I had a terrible, just no clue what you're doing.
Connecticut touch the ocean?
I didn't think it did, but I'm not a geography.
Long Island Sound.
Long Island Sound. Oh, you're right. Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah, and it's just howling southwest winds. They'll push waves through the sound, and then you're basically surfing wind surf.
Oh, that
So
makes
it's
sense.
like shoulder head.
I've been
eye
on the
up.
Sound. I've seen that. I've taken that ferry from Bridgeport to Long Island.
Yeah, the surfing came about by, I was actually at High Cascade, went for a double backflip, started getting that backside lean going on, caught a heel edge, like tried to throw the rodeo, had a rib injury, got told that it was like a 4-week healing process, just don't do anything. So I just like cruised down to Southern California, and it was that was the second time. The first time was with my buddy Brian after that summer. The first time we'd moved out there, we'd filmed all the video parts, snowboarded until like September 5th, I think, until they closed. And then we had October. My brother Dana had moved there already, and he was living in Huntington Beach. Never been to SoCal before, so we made the road trip all the way down there, which was like so sick after like the whole roadie across and then living there and then driving down, and just grabbed a 9-foot board. My brother's neighbor was an ex-professional surfer, kind of burnout guy, but he was just such a G, and he gave us like the full ropes. And there's something about being humbled and like starting over, I feel like, that I just like so much, and just getting bodied coming out of the water. Like, it took me like 6 or 7 days of paddling this longboard, bloody lips, and like just not getting it at all, to finally catch my first wave. And it was like 20 seconds, just a little whitewater dreamer. I could it changed my life for sure. And surfing is just one of those things like snowboarding where you have to commit 100% of your time, and you got to travel, and you got to go to Peru, and you got to go all these places. So from like 2000 and I think like 11 or 12 until 2016 or 17, I just did like a couple weeks where you're like just trying to get your endurance back and everything. And then I moved to Southern California with like a desire in 2016 to start surfing full time. And that's when I was like out there at 4 a.m. under the pier every day. And my buddy had brought me down to Mexico, and I met this other dude who had a house down there, and like the Mexico vibes were absolutely insane. So like one thing led to another, and like I started going down there all the time, falling in love with surfing. And the dude was going to Indo, and he asked me if I wanted to run his Airbnb and just like live down there for free. And it was just one of those things where I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to make any money, but I can just like post up here, do exactly what I want to do, surf the best waves. And I just got to like check in his guests and whatnot, and just being by myself and like surfing every single day with absolutely no worries. There's some connectivity that humans obviously have with water. We all know it. We don't know why or what. And it's just like being in the water, and then that feeling of surfing and like being on the wave is just like, it's so hard to relate to snowboarding. It's like, it's so rare that you're up and actually surfing. You could go for a 3-hour surf session, but maybe only get like 12 seconds of wave time. And it's just, I think it's the humblingness that just, it sucks so bad, and like starting over and the grind and like seeing the progress. Like I love that, the process of it so much. And dude, I don't know, something in me has switched over to surfing. It really got bad when COVID hit and all the resorts got shut down and all the travel stopped and all that. So I was like, well, at least I can still go to Mexico. I'm just going to go down there in March. And I committed like 2020 it was to like basically surfing the whole time. And then last winter, 2021 is when all the big winter swells roll in. And I'm like, well, my life is snowboarding and my whole business and my whole, like everything about it is snowboarding. But I'm like, I'm on this tier where I'm like, well, I want to do something else. But I'm like, well, if I do that, I might need to get a different job. I might need to literally work. And like, so I was like hovering on this weird line of wanting to surf so badly for the first winter ever. And I like did it. We went down to Mexico. We did like a full month traveling through Baja. And like I did all my travels and then feathered in the Gnar tour, scored Winter Park, like neck deep snow. As soon as we heard there was like 3 feet in Tahoe, 3 feet in Colorado, like we made the most of it happen. But I committed last winter mostly to surfing, and it's just fully consumed my life. I went to Indonesia this summer, spent 3 months on a boat, and I'll never be the same. It's like surfing is. Have you ever surfed?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, totally, 100%. And I'm floundering out there, but it is
The flounder.
It is like I'm hooked. Like if I go to the beach for 3 days, I'm in the water the whole time, and I'm on a foamy, just going fucking over the handlebars every second wave, and then you get it, and you go down the. Once you go down the line, it's over. You know.
And what's sick, I think you can be like 90 and still be out there in the little guy.
Yeah.
Little waves in Hawaii and a a longboard.
Yep.
So lifelong. I got a good Patreon question for surfing.
Yes.
It's from
Smack that.
Darth Blazed. If you had to pick, would it be a surf trip to Mexico or a POW trip to Japan?
If
and obviously it's going off in either place, you know.
Are there restrictions? Because I'm trying to go to Japan. If we can get access to Japan, I'm going to Japan right now. But pumping like Puerto, Mexico is like, I've done Japan twice. So it's like, what month?
your choice. Perfect scenario in each spot.
Just for the podcast, we're going to Japan.
Yeah,
we're going
smart
to
answer.
Japan.
That's
We're
a
going
smart
to
answer.
Japan.
I mean, I feel like I've been to Japan maybe over 10 times and it never gets old.
It doesn't get old.
Mm-hmm.
There's always new adventures to find in Japan.
Puerto, though.
Puerto
Yeah,
Vallarta.
Which one? Escondido.
Okay. No, I don't know if you're supposed to. That's the zone. You're blowing it out, too. You should probably, do we have to beep it out? Or?
It's blown. It's blown. I mean, I don't know.
People might come and find you.
You might not even make the paddle out there if you don't know it.
Now, question.
Oh, true, right? They come and get you, don't they?
Yeah. No, you'll just get smoked. You're not making it out. You're just,
do your subscribers, are they like, God, another surf video? Or
yes.
Well, they more want to see the snow?
Tenfold.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Got it.
Yeah. Tenfold.
Now,
they're like, you're the snow guy, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're the snow guy.
man.
But when they watch the surfing, they're always stoked. Like they're never not. They're like, and usually it'll be the ones where I put some type of, it'll be like a 10-minute snowboard session, and then like we hit the ocean after. I just throw in one of the sessions, and they're always just mind blown. Like, holy shit, you got so much better since the last time I seen you, because they don't click on any of the surfing videos, but they click on the snowboarding ones, and they see the surfing, and they're like, they're always super stoked on it. But I don't think snowboarding relates to surfing at all. Like no snowboarders really, they try it, but it's not like.
Yeah, Chris and I stand the opposite way.
But like surfers, they all love snowboarding. They do at least a trip every year.
They seem to rip too when they get on the snow.
They do, for sure.
You're the guy that you travel with. What's his name with the long hair?
Daly.
He can talk like a surfer really well. He's got that Spicoli voice dialed.
Yes, he is. He is the definition of it. That guy's the definition of oversoaked.
So much he was pronouncing natty as naughty.
Naughty, dude. Naughty. Let's give him an air horn.
Let's give a big old air horn. So that's another thing to talk about too, because you've been snowboarding your whole life, right? So you know how to do it. You've I don't want to say you've ceilinged, but you probably. It's hard to learn fucking 1440s and shit. Like, probably not going to be doing a whole bunch of 1440s or whatever the next progression is, but you can push yourself. But when you're at the bottom of a learning curve for something where you're like, you exponentially get better every time you go. Like for you to get better going snowboarding, you have to do a goddamn 1440. Now for you to get better at surfing, when you're at the bottom, it's like you just catch 2 more waves or whatever it is, you know, and that's addictive to see the reward the progression, right?
You feel like you're getting rewarded every time you go surf. You're getting better. It's the best day of my life. It's the best. Yeah, that's so true. And I love that process of getting better. So I might just be addicted to it.
Also, another thing too, talking about the ego is like, I think a lot of times people don't do something new is because their ego, like if I go snowboarding or skating, I've been doing it my whole life. I know I can show up to the park and like skate pretty good. But when you go and you're a goon at something, that holds a lot of people back, I think.
Sure.
They don't want to be seen as that goon.
For sure. I was in Mexico by myself, so no one was looking at me. I wasn't putting out any content. But yeah, you feel like your ego would still just be like, yo, forget this. This is just not. I'm just out here getting bodied. It's not for me. It sucks. But I don't know. I fought through it. I like it hammered. And especially because it's water. So like you can take this insane beating that's like not really a beating. Like you feel like you're getting annihilated, but you're not. But you are.
What are there's like some life lessons that ocean teaches you, and do you got, this is kind of a shitty question, but I want to put you on blast. You got any like deeper lessons that the ocean teaches you?
You got to take care of yourself, 100%. It brings out every flaw that you have. If you're trying to paddle and you're trying to breathe and you're trying to balance and you're trying to do all this stuff, and there's just like, I mean, the only way to relate it to snowboarding is like mini avalanches, where like every time you go on the hill, there's gonna be a subtle little avalanche every couple of seconds or minutes that you're gonna just like have to be like buried and dig yourself out of. Or so. It's just like, it's so brutal. So you got to be able to hold your breath. You got to have good cardio. You got to have good endurance. You got to be like strong. Like as soon as you could paddle for you could be a beast for 20 minutes, but then 30 minutes later you can't move your arms. So you're just like, and now I'm out here in a position where I'm weak and I'm vulnerable and I'm taking sets on the head and I can't breathe. I'm being pinned underwater. It's like, there's just so much that you learn about yourself. And if you thought you were doing something good or you thought you weren't, like it all comes together in the water.
Yeah, when you get pinned down, you're under for like 1 second. You're like, dude, was I under for 30 seconds? That was crazy.
And it's 1 second.
Yeah. You have to find the center where throughout all the most insane chaos that you'll ever deal with in your life, you have to find full peace and balance and just wait it out, which is kind of relatable. You know, everything's going to happen. You just got to go with it.
Yeah, that first time you're surfing and you're in the washing machine and you swim the wrong way.
Yeah,
you learn that you got to float up first.
Yeah, you're literally heading towards the beach.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Are you wearing a wedding ring?
We actually have to answer this. My grandpa passed like a month ago, and I've literally been on the road. I flew to Florida. We had his funeral. My grandmother gave me and my brother one of his wedding rings, and I don't have a stable place. I lose everything that I've ever had. I just threw the wedding ring on, and I've just been stoked on it ever since. I don't even know why.
I was gonna say, you can't be. It's tough to be married living in an RV.
Married.
Yeah, how does is it hard to do relationships with your like insane
with your
all
four
over
bros
the place
next to you
and your workflow, or how does that all work?
Yeah, it's not really a working thing.
The relationship is with the dream right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, trying to do a lot of stuff it's just almost difficult to do by yourself, and you got to take care of somebody if you're going to be with them. So you need to give your attention to that, and I wouldn't want to not be able to do that or do it wrong. So I'm just dreaming for now.
You got to be careful wearing a wedding ring because that attracts women. Actually,
yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, he's that type of guy. He's down to get married, and all of a sudden they want you.
That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing, but it's true. It's a true thing.
I love it.
We're single.
Yeah.
With a wedding
Which
ring.
Finger is it? Which one's
that's the right
left?
ring.
You go left hand.
Yeah, left hand.
Oh, so I'm just. Oh, wow.
You're full on rocking a. I was like, how is he married? Traveling around doing a daily vlog. How was that? How was that possible?
There's been a lot of comments lately. I made an announcement, but they don't really watch it.
That's dope. I like that. So I was also wanted to say you bought a house in Baja, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That.
Oh wow.
I saw you go there and the lights were turned off, and you're like, oh, we got to pay the bill. Like no biggie.
It's a house. It's a trailer, like kind of cemented in the ground from the 60s or the 70s.
They cemented the trailer in.
Yeah, they built a little foundation around it. They put it on blocks, and it's like they built like an attachment over it. So there's like a roof, and it's so sick. Me and one of my buddies went in on it, super cheap.
Now, does it overlook the ocean?
Yes.
Yeah, that looks. You just wake up, look at the waves.
Yeah, you can go on the balcony and you can see 3 different breaks. It's insane, dude.
3 breaks. Woo.
Yeah.
How often do you go down there?
Every month.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. At least once a month. Got to pay rent.
Oh, you go down to pay the rent.
When you're on
pay the bills.
Close to the ocean, you don't own it, and you have to pay the lease still.
Ah, gotcha. That's different in Mexico, huh?
Mm-hmm. Can't officially own the land.
Incredible.
Okay, we've been going all over the place today, but let's just keep the theme going and just jump back to when you were in high school. Because talking to Dossie, he said that you had maybe like a drinking problem in high school and also maybe like some anger issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like humans in general have some type of aggression all the time. You know, we used to have to own our territory and stuff. So I was in high school, dealing with like, you know, growing up, having all the issues and stuff. So going to parties and finding alcohol was just like so easy to release all that. And all of a sudden you're confident and you're able to do whatever you want. Then you feel like shit. So then you start drinking the next day, you feel good early. So it was like a mix of that started, and then like the ego just fully taking over with the alcohol. And I was weightlifting a lot, just all exterior, just like trying to visually just look strong and like be tough. And like, I don't even know what like insecurities I had that I was clearly trying to mask. But the alcohol was gnarly. I wasn't like a I don't know how to say bad alcoholic, as in like sloppy. Like I was able to handle myself so gnarly. Like I was drinking before school, going into school like hammered, leaving, going like trails through the woods, drinking, come back, hiding stuff in the bathrooms. And it was gnarly. I didn't even really know why. I think it was just the confidence thing, and that mixed in with working out and trying to get jacked. Then you're just like, now you just feel like you're this just better person than anybody. And like I just didn't really know about the secret and the law of attraction and all that. So it was like this mix of like this confused high school person, not really knowing what was going on. My mom moving up to New Hampshire, and like I lost my dad, so I didn't have a father figure, and it just wasn't the call. And literally when I went to Mount Snow, and I told you that we veered off and we took that first day at Mount Snow, and I started seeing everybody spinning and doing sevens and landing and stuff, and I literally was benching 300 pounds at this time.
Holy shit.
PR, just putting up almost 3 plates. You're not limber. You can't grab as good. You can't like flex as good. And it's not like I was doing any mobility stuff to where like you could be strong and jacked and still mobile. I was just hammering meat and just weights and just trying to just put anything in the neck as it's going to get turned into muscle. And that snowboarding literally saved and changed my entire life. And I was like, I stopped working out immediately, switched over to yoga, and like just wanted to get like super flexible and limber, and I wanted to be able to jump higher and do backflips and all that type of stuff. And it's like that same time period like led into that secret thing when I also moved to Mount Hood, and I was just like, there was this crazy thriving energy around like taking care of myself, trying to grow and like be a better person while getting better at riding. And the alcohol was just not it. And finding out about the secret, being like this whole time I've just been being aggressive towards people for no reason. That's why they're aggressive back. And you can tell that in the streets when you walk by someone who's emotionless and you hit them with a nice smile, and like they're kind of they're stoked back. They're like, oh, that was nice. But if you just like look at someone up and down, they'll look at you up, and then it's like it's that quick. So it's up to you how you want to like receive energy by how you're giving it. Yeah,
that's very eloquently stated. Going back to when you put down the bottle, what are the immediate like benefits?
Reduction in inflammation in your whole entire body. Brain fog gone, like just straight clarity when you wake up. You're not like in a confused state. I had crazy heartburn, gnarly heartburn, gone, never again, unless I swallowed too much salt water. Just, yeah, it's unbelievable. I think I had like some liver stuff going on because I had some blood lipid panels done, and like everything was proper because when I started taking care of myself, when I see where I was at and see where all my vitamins and everything were. And it was like, there was just this one thing with my liver that was like, it's repairing itself, but you can tell that it had prolonged damage or some type of enzyme that comes out. And so like, yeah, I'd gotten another one since then, and it fully got back and like helped repair itself. There's just so much damage that alcohol does that you don't really realize it. And when you're hammering it down like I am at 16 years old, like 7:30 in the morning, 8 a.m., it's like, it's got to be so brutal.
Yeah, that's crazy. You were drinking before school and stuff. That is wild. You said your mom moved to New Hampshire, so were you guys left alone to your own devices in the house?
Kind of. She would come back and she would dial us in with like whatever we needed. She would like have food and stuff. She'd come back on the weekends, make sure we weren't blowing the place up with parties, and like try to do everything that she could. But she was like in the middle of selling the house and getting the house, and like she was working up there as a traveling RN, and like she was just doing
how old were you at this time?
16.
So you were
16.
No parents in the house at 16.
Not really.
That's crazy.
16, 17. But I had my older brother at the time, was literally almost 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
So he was like 26. And
so he was babysitting then?
Yeah, but he was...
but not really the babysitting
joining in on all of it anyways, and to have an older brother that was partying, like I think that's even what started getting me into it earlier, is my mom not there, and then having an older brother who could have parties and then being around all that alcohol.
And buy you beer, huh?
And hundo fee.
Man,
wow.
Incredible. Now that you've changed gears into more of you're more focused on vitality and continuing. It seems like, I mean, you look at how you wake up, you stretch, you you know, work out, eat good food, snowboard all day, edit at night. You have like a deep sense of vitality with what you do. What would you say as far as like actionable advice that people are listening, like major kind of life hacks for overall health that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, there's so many, dude. It's crazy. And the more you learn about it, the more you realize that like that first health thing you did was like, it was healthier than what you were doing, but it's actually not good. I would just say that like, don't beat yourself down. And like a lot of people, they'll want to do something, they mess up the first day or the second day or whatever, and then they'll just go like full like aggro, the opposite, where it's like you're gonna mess up, and then nobody's perfect, and whatever you do to benefit yourself, that one little thing that you did, you can counter that pretty easily by not. And if it's just one time, maybe you did it 10 times last week or 5 times this week. It's one, just like
I love that what I call, or not I call, but it's been coined like self-trust, right? So simple things like we've talked about on the show, like, oh, you wake up, if you say to yourself, I'm going to make my bed every morning. You make your bed in the morning, you don't feel any different. But you made a promise to yourself, I'm going to make my bed every day. So you did that little thing. Oh, I made my bed today. I said I was going to do it. I did it. I self-trust, right? So those little things, I'm going to wake up, like I'm going to drink a full glass of water first thing when I wake up. That's huge. Like I do that every morning and I don't miss it. And it's not crazy, but you can do it. You get some hydration in there. You try to get 32 ounces of water down before I put anything else in. That'll go a long way. We're all massively dehydrated. All those little things, and then it builds on to look at you. You're like, I'm going to make a vlog every day for a year. It takes a while to build up to that self-trust, because otherwise you say, people are like, all right, it's a new year. I'm going to get a gym membership. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to work out 3 times a week. They do that for a week and it drops off. It's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. But when you can find those smaller things and build on that self-confidence, self-trust, and you actually believe when you say you're going to do something, you do it. That's huge.
Because you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why that whole tomorrow or the next day thing is like, it'll never work. You got to, if you want to do something, you got to do it right then. Because that's what's, it's like when they say you can't help somebody, like they have to help themselves. They have to want the help. Yeah. That's the most crucial thing.
Mm-hmm. That's killer. And then, what about, you mentioned yoga and then diet. And that seems like, what about meditation?
It's all tied in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to, the mind it's a muscle. You got to dial that thing in, whether it's training of handling how to have a car accident, like you're saying, and handle it properly and not freak out, or whether it's eating the right healthy fats, getting omega-3s and fish oils and stuff so that your brain can repair in the middle of the night, or whatever you got to do. It's like you got to meditate to keep your sanity and your conscious and everything and all those thoughts out of the way. And then you got to creatively visualize to keep those thoughts in and actually know what you want to think about. And then all that flows together better when your body is running the way it should. So that comes from nutrition. And if you're eating things that are good for you, and then you're feeling better, and then you're taking care of yourself, then like so many doors open of things that you could do that you never even imagined.
Yeah, love it. Well, that's some great advice for the listeners. I think we should get into hot takes. Now, hot takes is presented by Oakley Goggles. I run the Oakley Line Miners. Their lenses are the dopest. It can be basically like flat light out, and you feel like it's Bluebird. They're great goggles. They support the show. You should support them. With that being said, this is a staple of the show. We do normally start this off with MJ, Michael Jordan of snowboarding, GOAT, what you will. Who's your MJ, both male and female, in snowboarding? Who you got?
Whew. I mean, definitely Torstein. And, I mean, probably Anna Gasser.
Solid answer. Question number 2, who's the most underrated?
I don't know, man. Zeb might still be the most underrated.
Yeah, he's a problem.
He's a problem.
He's a certified problem. I like that answer. If you could go heliboarding with 3 people in the world, who would it be?
I mean, I'd have to bring one of the homies. Probably bring Dailyware for the stoke, the overstoker.
Overstoker.
You know? Probably Scotty, because he brought me out. And Dawsey to get the shot.
There you go.
Solid. That's a solid
it's a good
squad.
crew right there.
Okay, and then
maybe those Patreon guys will get that trip going for you. Get you in a heli.
All right, we like to ask if you like to hit the beaver slap, if you got snow in the lift line, you smack in the tail, you getting the snow off in the line, you like to hit a mean beaver slap in the lift line, or you keep it
in the line?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you don't. I like it. Okay. A lot of times people like to
That's
establish
a firm no right there.
alpha male dominance in the line. Just hit a big old beaver slap. Let everybody know they're there.
I do it by accident sometimes and regret it. Like, so
You
the
regret
lifty
it?
is right there.
The
and you're
lifties
like,
don't like that.
If everybody does that, like that's not
Yeah.
it's not going to work out. I'm
Lifties
standing right
frown.
here. Yeah.
So would you say you have an anti-beaver slap stance?
In the lift, in that
Yeah.
area. Yeah. There's just too much going on.
I like it.
So especially that's a skill. You got to have you got to have aim. But when you get off the lift and you go over to cruise in, smack.
Yeah.
You know?
Pro tip.
When you go over the crew,
Well, once you get off the lift and
off
you go
the
to
lift.
strap in, yeah, smack that.
Yeah,
thing,
give it
get
a
the
little
snow
there's
Smack
off.
it
those
out of your
guys that
bindings.
like to slap it on the lift when someone's standing under. I had my backpack open at Mammoth shooting.
Oh, yeah.
That's when we were there for that Solomon shoot. Some dude just filled my backpack with snow. It was a
No
skier
bueno.
though.
That's no
Okay.
bueno.
Last
No
question
bland.
of hot takes. Worst trend. What do you got?
There's no bad trends.
God damn. I'm going to give an air horn to
Good
that answer. Kind of a Louis Vito answer a little bit, too.
Just dodging the
Kind of a
trends.
dodge, but it's also I think
each
it's
his own.
I think it's an authentic
Yeah,
dodge.
to each
it's an
their
authentic
own.
dodge. I like it.
know?
It's a positive dodge.
Well, it's
So you
probably
can't
going to
let-
come back in a couple years.
Yeah.
There's so many trends that were lame, and then 10 years later, that
They're
is
back.
it. You know?
True.
Everything comes full circle.
Just
too.
perception.
If you spend time saying bad trends, you're kind of a hater, I guess, right?
You don't want to be hated.
Yeah.
You don't want to be hated, but we need haters.
We
too.
do.
We need it
haters,
all.
Yeah, we need
Okay,
haters.
and then next we got setups. So we like to run through what gear you rock. You got your board, bindings, outerwear, the whole shebang.
Lego snowboards. I have had the same pair of Arbor hemlocks since I rode for Arbor like 4 or 5 years ago.
Those bindings are 5 years deep.
I've replaced parts. They sent like I like hit up their warranty company for like a spare part, and they sent like a spare binding. And I've been also some of my followers have had hemlocks, and they sent me theirs.
They
so
send you some goods, some
all
ratchets.
none of the
or-
straps work. Everything, they come off all the time. Boots. I don't even know if I have boots. I have like different inners from different shells, and then you just gotta throw out 32 lash is the best boot in the game. So I think I have that inner lining, but then I put it in some Adidas Tacticals or something because the shell was outer or it was just too tough. Candy grind for outerwear apparel and 686 as well. What do we got? Same with the gloves. Candy grind, actually, we have a custom glove that we did together and some jackets and stuff. Burn helmets. I don't know what kind of goggles I have. I have a couple, whichever ones aren't wet or cold or frozen. Throw those on. Random lenses. I have a lot of like True Wild, like supplements and stuff like that. Like a lot of those supporters. Lava Rubber, the sickest yoga mat in the game. Like sunscreen, Armavara sunscreen. Like
Keep it going. Keep the plugs going. What else you got?
So many bulletproof. Just got to run through the letters. I think that's a lot of them.
Okay, solid list of sponsors. Now, before we wrap this thing up and put a friggin' bow on it, let's. You got any thank yous you want to throw out?
There's so many that I just need to thank everybody that's had any part in helping me with any of this since day one. Or anybody that will help in the future. It's just like it's a community. It's a little piece of everybody's hard work that goes into it, and yeah, I'm just overall grateful for everyone and everything.
Love it.
I got one more quick question. How long do you see yourself living this NRV lifestyle and traveling around and not anchoring down?
That's all I see.
That's it.
That's all I see. Maybe a different RV or something, but yeah, I'm on the road for sure because I'm just trying to like find those. The spots are always changing, the conditions are always changing, and I'm trying to live on like the best conditions. So if you're moving around, it's difficult, but it's definitely my dream.
That's inspiring.
Love that.
Thanks for inspiring so many people with what you do with positivity and everything else and keeping them hyped. Thank you so much for coming on our show. Thank you to everybody that listens, supports our sponsors, buys merch, all that stuff. We really appreciate you guys. And we will see you next week. Over and out from the bomb hole.